We are live. Welcome to the Window to Our Mind pod number 17. I don't have Cam today and I sound weird. I think I start having a cold. Outside of that, I am doing very well. And how are you, Gray?
I'm doing good. Apparently, my interface decided to no longer be recognized by my computer, so I'm just talking through my camera mic, which probably sounds weird as well. But other than that, I'm doing good. Here to talk about evolution.
Yeah, that's funny. That's a weird week. And I gotta say, DC has noticed it. You probably did as well. You just didn't mention it. They are no question, and I will get to it very soon. How are you, DC?
I'm doing fine. I'm doing better than yesterday.
This is good news. We want to hear that much more often. This is amazing. Anyhow, I will address this right now. It's possible next week we skip both podcasts, but it's only possible. Like, I'd say there's a 90% chance we are still doing it, but there's still 10% of no, we are not having it. So I wanted to address it right now. And now the other thing to address is the question. Usually each week we do have four questions. This week we don't. Except if guys came up with any. Uh, I will ask you right now before I give any reason. So, Gray, do you have any question about the topic? Or DC, do you have any question about the topic?
I have none.
No.
Okay, so reason number one is well, I don't have much time anymore because waking up in the morning sucks. And the other thing is, I wanted to make it different this week. Um, it's more hopeful in the title. I hope so. Um, so yeah, in the last few weeks we had like heavy topics, and I feel like DC and I were a lot on the same page, and we were very negative, and we had like Gray that was able to see like the bright side, which was amazing, bringing some kind of balance to it. And I'm like, you know what? Week 17, let's try to be more hopeful and try to tell how we can make our own happiness, if you know what I mean, because this is evolving. So yeah, so today there are no question, but we will talk about evolving. Uh, a bit like last week, we did many tangent. I think this week we'll kind of go the same, lots of tangent, and then a video. Um, so yeah, I picked it because it felt more hopeful. So I'd say when I say evolving, what do you think of Dre?
I guess it kind of depends, which way you're kind of talking about that. Traditionally, I would think like evolution, like from, the most fittest or however you want to say that meme, essentially just what is best adapted for the environment. But I got a feeling you might be talking about something else. And if that's the case, it's a fun term that describes a lot.
Yeah, I will ask you the same, DC. What comes in your mind when I mention evolving? DC, are you with us? That's the silence that end. You know.
What about you, Multi? What was your idea when you what do you think of when you hear evolving?
Okay, so DC as is
Oh,
answer
nice.
here. Evolution is when I think of people or animals or objects changing over time. It's very similar to Gray, which is interesting. Now, evolving. For me, when I think of that, when I decided this week would be the topic, I was like, okay, how can we be better people, better society, how to improve and how to be better, you know? I wanted to be as vague as well as I could so we can have like interesting discussion and stuff. That's why I just said evolving, because I do think when we are stuck in that kind of really dark place and we only consume bad media or that kind of stuff, and we are hateful people and stuff, we stop ourselves from being like evolved. We are like these people stuck in old ways. And I do think, even if society has changed a lot, I do think after talking with both of you and Charles, I do think we are heading in a good way if we keep going the way we are going without like going too far to authoritarian stuff. But it's more like a Canada thing because of Trudeau and his craziness. But I think people are much more open when it comes to the states and stuff. So yeah, when I think of evolving, I think of how can you improve, how can you be a better person. So I don't know if it makes sense. Um, it doesn't make
No, I
any
think so.
sense.
So do you see evolution as only one way, like it's only improvement, or could like the state of, everything be constantly evolving, but not necessarily for the better, just change over time?
I'd hope evolving is always in the right way, but I also think evolving could regress and go back to old ways that are not necessarily really good. But I do hope that we are evolving on a way where people where things and people are becoming better. But yeah, like sometime when we speak of trauma and scars and past and really bad stuff, you can be evolving into something more depressed, more sad, and it's not necessarily good. So it can go either way. Um, I really want to associate evolving with something good, because then you're not afraid to change, if you know what I mean. Because if you associate it with like something bad, you'll be like, oh, if I change this, this is bad. So I'm wondering if any of you know where I'm getting at with that.
Yeah, I get where you're coming from.
Yeah, for sure. I just wasn't sure if, it would technically be like evolution to adapt to like, whatever you mentioned like the culture war before. Like if you're adapting to it and you're better suited for the culture war, would that be evolving or would it only be like improvement upon yourself? But I understand what you're saying. I was just curious.
That's a really good question. Like if if you like we mentioned the culture war, I try to wrap my head around that. So maybe I will sit that one on ice for now, and maybe we'll get back at it, because in the moment I don't have a really good answer. But like I will share a lot of my experience with that stuff. Last year, like actually no, almost 2 years ago, because that was more like 2022. Because 2023 I kind of started dissociating from that. But yeah, 2022, already 2 years, man. That's messed up. That time flies. So
Yep.
yeah, 2022 was a really, really rough year for me. That and 2023 was even worse, but I was on a better place mentally and physically and all of it. But that was still a really shitty year, but I did improve a lot. So yeah, 2022 I was on a really dark place, because at that point I just had left a job I really liked that I needed to leave because it was getting toxic. I was doing a burnout, and I wasn't happy anymore. And I like happiness and the seek for it, the search for it is always very important. You only got one life, and when you're not happy where you are, you got to do something to change it. And sometimes, even if you don't want that, even if it will hurt you, you need to leave some stuff in the past, some things in the past. And this is what happened. I left the first job I ever liked, because many reasons. I was doing a burnout, and I needed some fresh air. I needed a new place, and then of course I need to pay the bills. So when you leave a place and you enter a new workplace, it's new rules, it's new system, it's new stuff. You gotta learn everything again. And I was really good at the previous one. Maybe that's why I liked it so much. But I went from a place I really liked but was becoming toxic for me to a place I truly hated. This is why I'm no longer there. But yeah, I hated the new workplace I was in, and I was kind of stuck there because it paid the bills. And I kind of watched a lot of Nerdrotic and a lot of these channels like Geeks and Gamers and stuff. And I don't know exactly what I was thinking at that point, why it resonated so much with me, because like before them I wasn't into the culture war at all. They were like my gateway into that kind of stuff, and I started having issues with media because that's the kind of issues they address, but they are not really valid issues to critique, and they're like more like um people that hate change. They want the status quo. So yeah, I was into that kind of content a lot, and eventually I fell into the red pill stuff. And we talked about red pills in like week 2, and that was also kind of bad. But I didn't see it because I was watching that kind of content, if you know what I mean, Dre. So maybe, yeah, I'm wondering if any of you would like to ask a question or say anything about what I've said so far.
I completely get where you're coming from and what you mean. I think we all kind of are subject to that. Like once you're kind of going down a tunnel or whatever, you can't exactly take a step back and look at it. I know I was doing that with kind of anti fandom initiative content. I don't know. We didn't set out to make a channel that was like just going to bash these one group of guys, and it kind of went on that way. But it led to me meeting some really cool people, and thankfully Charles kind of saw what I was doing and helped pull me out of that, helped me take a step back. I think that's kind of what you were saying with like that red pill thing. Like, it is a common psychological phenomenon that when you keep seeing something, like it does prime your mind that, okay, this is an actual phenomena. So when you're like watching the red pill stuff, they keep bringing up certain things. When I was kind of, just stuck in that bubble of this content, oh, they said this is wrong. I've got to set the record straight. I don't know. You're not able to see the forest for the trees. You're focusing on these tiny details. I think it happens to everybody, and periodically you've got to take a step back. It really does help you grow. It helps to get a better vantage point.
Yeah, I fully agree. So DC, do you want to add something to this?
No, because I kind of have nothing really to add.
Okay, so now as I was listening to what he said, I got somewhat of an idea of maybe one of the potential reason why I may have been driven toward that kind of hateful content. I wasn't happy with what was going on in my life, and seeing that other people are not really happy as well, whether it's fake or not, it made me feel better, if you know what I mean. Like I was like, I'm not the only one that doesn't feel good. So let's just take to them, if you know what I mean, Dre or DC.
Oh yeah, misery loves company, man.
Exactly. That was my mindset, and this was really bad. So one day I fell on a random videos from like actual fandom, and he kind of talked about these pattern and all of the things that was one of his early videos, and I was curious to watch into actual fandom because he did a collab with Eric's Reloaded at that point. And I will also mention that Eric's Reloaded, I was following him for years. It was probably the only more positive influence in 2022. It was like the only like channel I feel like wasn't aiming at aiding on something that I was really following, and like it was my gateway to like actual fandom channel. And then I've seen, oh yeah, that's true. Like the anti woke crowd is kind of bad. So I found like the streams they started doing at that time, and I was like starting slowly to deprogram myself from that kind of content. And now I only watch sometimes a drinker video depending on the title in the movie. Like if it's a Disney or a Marvel stuff, I don't give a crap because I know exactly what they will say. But if it's an unknown movie, I will just look into it. Oh, what's that? Um, but yeah, I changed and I realized, man, being into these circles of hateful people makes you hateful, and I wasn't feeling good about it. That's why I cut all ties, or I should say I unsubbed from all of these channels. And slowly I started realizing the initiative was basically doing like roughly the same thing, but their target was different. So I also kind of stopped watching their stuff. I kind of came back sometimes here and there because I was curious to see what Charles or Turf had to say because I do think they're a bit different. But I also kind of stopped watching content from that side after a time because I realized, oh, it's the same thing, but different target.
Can I ask you? Yeah, and it is speculation because we're talking about somebody else. But like you said that with DJ Eric, you were kind of interested in his content, and it was more positive. Um, so when he joined the initiative, do you see that as evolution of him, or would that just be something additional? It definitely seemed to be a little bit more negative once he got involved with those guys.
Yeah, that's a very tricky question. You see, that's a tricky question because I see why you asked that, and even me, I don't really know what to say. So I will admit something. Now I don't watch DG Eric as much as I used to, and I like there are some channels I like to support. Mainly like at that point here, only people in our circle that I click on the join button, like we got K Dot, Showmonger, Jaded. I all joined their YouTube things to support them, and Charles as well and stuff. And Eric used to be like the only content creator out there that I don't really interact with, that I was uh joining is members stuff. And I was on the highest level, if we can call it that way.
Damn, real
But
support. That's awesome, man.
yeah, but then recently I decided to like downgrade it. And here's the why. I feel like what he does with the initiative changed him. That there was always that part of what he does in the initiative he had in his main content. It was always around, like even 5 years ago, like he would mention that crowd of hateful people. I wouldn't necessarily agree because at that point I was still watching the anti-woke crowd, so I was disagreeing with Eric's on a lot of stuff he said. But that was always the thing about Eric, like even 5 years ago, because I've been following him for like a good 6 years, I'd say, maybe even 7 years. But that may be a stretch. But yeah, I've been following him for a long time, so it was always part of what he was doing, but it was very small. And since he has joined that initiative thing, I feel like it has taken over and it takes so much space that I don't think it's the same Eric. And I'd say because now he has two channels that are basically political, that's a regression. That's a downgrade. He didn't evolve in the right way. Um he is not as positive as he used to. And I feel like a lot of his content now is driven by the culture war. Well, in the past, it was really like about fandom and about liking something, and that's why I liked so much what he was doing, because I felt like there was nuance. It was like, oh yeah, what I'm watching is not perfect. There's a few issues, but I like it. I'm a fan and stuff, and that did resonate very well with me. And now I feel like here and there he will do a video mentioning backlash on something, and when it comes like to Eric's debunk, his second channel, I think it's fine because he created that channel for that purpose. But then when it bleeds over like is Eric's Reloaded channel, I'm a bit disappointed, if you know what I mean, Gray.
I do. I just wonder if he would see that as evolution, you know, like perhaps, well, I was going to say perhaps he's got more eyes on him, but that's not true. His first channel was definitely has way more subs than like his second channel, the more political one. But yeah, I think for me, it really is that difference between like positivity and kind of negativity. Like, it's just he's ragging on a bunch of things now, where before he was really like championing a bunch of things, and you could just see like the passion and the enjoyment. I agree with you. I think he was definitely different. I don't know. I'm kind of the camp that that's still change, and you know, this culture has kind of shifted in the last few years. It seems like he's trying to adjust to be more a part of that. So I don't know. I could still see that as evolution. It's just not in the way that I'd want it to be. But yeah, I am kind of two minds. I understand exactly what you're saying, and I get it and agree.
So that would be the kind of example, like it's evolution and it's evolving, but it's evolving into something I think is bad. Um, and this is a bit sad, and this is why I like now it's been like 3 months already, like almost 4 months that we are doing this window to our mind. But that's why I wanted to create window to our mind, because I wanted to talk about society and stuff, and I wanted it to be very different from the red blue one where we focus on media. Sometimes we will cover some news about media and stuff, but the emphasis of red blue is really like, let's watch stuff and talk about stuff. And on window to our mind, we can still talk about media, but we won't necessarily review media. And this is why I decided to like really trade these two very distinct podcasts. And I really hope my content won't bleed over the other one too much. Like, it's fine if it's similar, but it's wrong if both podcasts are basically the same thing, if you know what I mean, Dre.
Yep.
Yeah, I get it. There's definitely a reason why you'd want to kind of separate them out. And yeah, I agree. I like the mix that we have, that it's not really bleeding over into the other one, but you know, it wouldn't be the worst thing if it's mentioned or whatever. I don't know. I like the dynamic.
Yeah. So evolving. So we talked a lot about evolving so far, and what do you think you could do as a person to evolve, starting with Marvel?
Mm. Well, I think at first what I can do to evolve. Mm. That's actually a tough one.
It's vague. It's big. That's the point of it.
Oh, I guess it's like you realizing your mistakes and how you over time be changed as a person. It's pretty much like, oh, you did something bad. That's kind of what I think of when I think when a person like evolves. But yeah.
Great. What would be your response to that? What do you think you could do as a person to evolve?
Yeah, I think there's a bunch of things like there's a bunch of areas that you could evolve in. I think progressive overload is definitely kind of my way of doing that. But the idea and like weightlifting or fitness is just a little bit more, either a little bit longer, more reps, more weight, any which way that you could improve to then get to kind of that next level. You could do that with your job. You could do that with your skills. I'm really trying to learn editing a lot better than what I currently have it at. I'm not the most skilled editor, so I'm constantly trying to improve those skills so that I could evolve, hopefully professionally. But yeah, fitness wise, I would definitely like to evolve and get better, get faster, get stronger. Uh, there's so many different aspects, and then as a person, like conversationally, I'm constantly trying to look at like ways that I keep cutting off people and realizing like, okay, I can't do that. Anything else that I'm kind of doing, if I keep saying the same thing over and over again, ways that I can improve that. Perhaps it's for the better, perhaps it's for the worst, but I'm not sure. I think trying to improve and not trying to stay still would be the best way to evolve.
Yeah, I like your point. That's really good, and this is very similar to me. I do think evolving can mean a lot of things. Like someone that evolves is someone that is somewhere else. Like I'm not the person I was last year, and I'm not the person I was 2 years ago. So I am evolving. And I think what you can do to evolve, the best way you can do to evolve is find a position in what you believe and think. Like seek for other people opinion, try to like understand it, and try to like ask yourself if what you think makes sense. If you don't question yourself enough, I think you cannot really evolve enough, if you know what I mean. Someone that doesn't question himself is stuck at being somewhere. Does any of that make sense?
Yep.
Gray.
Yes, sir. I understand what you're saying. That makes perfect sense.
And this is why I liked so much talking to Charles last week. That's why I keep mentioning Charles again, and I'm because he has very different point of views, and he kind of made me rethink. Because like if you guys remember, the initial plan with this week's stream was let's talk about how we can improve society and stuff, but it has kind of changed because I realized maybe I was consuming too much media, like saying society has failed us and that kind of stuff. And maybe I was too much of the mindset that everything is broken while there are still things that work very well, and there are things that did improve over the years. Um, and there's
Yeah.
more
I
good
mean,
than bad.
it's really hard to kind of sell the like everything is perfect. Like, what do you do from there? But when you kind of keep focusing on little parts that like this isn't as good as it could be, I don't know. It's so easy to focus on that. Yeah, I definitely was going down the kind of doomer black pill route, if you will. The kind of everything is lost. Like, is there really hope? Um, I really think there is. I'm not saying that it's like the most perfect book ever, but what really helped pull me out of that was this Steven Pinker book, Enlightenment Now. He's not like the end all be all of everything, but I don't know, just the way that he actually like compiled the data and just helped me take a look at like, okay, previously, here's where we were at like 100 years ago, here's where we're at now. Almost every aspect of life is improved. And I definitely wouldn't want to be living in like, say, the 1700s or anything like that. I think now is the time period that I would choose if I could live at any time. I'm very pampered compared to a lot of our ancestors or whatever. Uh, Rarely do you hear a bunch of people kind of saying that. So I agree with you. I kind of understand exactly what you're saying. I definitely was more in that camp a little while ago. I'm not the same person I was a couple years ago.
Yeah, and it's fascinating because I say we are evolving, and I've seen many news outlet and many stuff around mentioning that maybe we will have World War III. So I'm like, are we really evolving?
Yeah.
Great. Are we really evolving as a society if we are at the dawn of a third world war?
I mean, perhaps that's going to bring about even faster evolution. Like it's just change over time. There would have to be a lot of changes that are made, at least by my definition. I'm not strictly holding it to that only positive. Like, it kind of feels like any change is, you're going from point A to point B. That feels like a change. So I don't know. It could be strange, but perhaps that is a way to bring about even more change. I'm not saying I want World War III, but also keep in mind they've been talking about World War III basically since World War II. The threat is always there. The 80s were all full of the threat. I don't know if you guys had to do many of those tests where you're like hiding under your desk or whatever that's supposed to help, but yeah, it's not going to do much. But the threat has been looming for quite a while, so this isn't new either. But yeah, it definitely, everything that's going on now doesn't bode well. But yeah, I don't know. I would still say that could be evolution, just maybe not positive evolution.
Yeah, that's a very fair point. And I guess this will solve everything and people will start starving and now we will have more money because nobody will spend anything anymore. So maybe that's a good thing, a big reset. No more inflation. Let's go back to the 50s. The golden era. Anyhow, I think this week has been very different than past stream, and that was the point of it. Because again, I didn't have time to trade a question, and I was like, let's try something out, But I will try my best for next week if we end up having a stream having these questions ready, But yeah, I will keep you updated for next week. The moment I get my schedule, I will tell the both of you if we skip or if it's at 7:30. It will be most likely be at 7:30, just like this week and last week basically. Because if I do end up working, there's high chances I will work like until around the same time as today if I end up working. Anyhow, that's the part, So now, I'm wondering if any of you would like to add more to evolving before we move on to the video stuff.
Not me.
Yeah, I think we covered it, man. I like where your head was at on it. That's kind of not where I was thinking, but I like your ideas on that.
Yeah. So with that being said, I got clothes I need to put in the dryer that won't take too long. So because of that, I will let Gray or Marvel, whoever wants to do it, search for one of the video in the playlist in our chat, the co-host chat. So there's much more videos now in that unlisted playlist I shared in our Discord group. So who wants to search for that video, Gray or DC?
Well, I'm on my phone and I don't even know. So,
I can try and search for one. I'm not sure if my audio is going to play. Like, seriously, the only audio that my computer is seeing right now is the one from this camera. So I don't know, man. I'm not sure if I can even play it from my computer at this point. It just randomly decided to not use my audio right before this. I don't know why, but yeah.
So
we can try, but there's a possibility that it is all in vain.
What we will be doing, you choose Gray, and once you chose, I will be trying with my potato computer to screen share.
Cool. And I can definitely have my audio fixed by next time. I don't know what's going on with it.
And in the meantime, DC or Gray, one of you can talk about evolving a bit more while I am putting my clothes in the dryer. Keep the people entertained and yeah.
No pressure.
That won't take too long. It's just that they only give me one shirt, 2 shorts, so I need to always do laundry almost every day. Anyhow, that won't take too long, 5-minute max.
Okay. I don't know. What do you think, DC? Do you see evolution as only like a positive thing, or would it be more of like an adapting thing? Like,
I kind of see it more as a I guess more positive thing.
fair enough. That makes sense to me.
Yep.
I do kind of like Multi's idea on that. I just wasn't sure. Like adapting to whatever problems are in your current environment. It just kind of seems like that could be an evolution. Like you'd be better at dealing with whatever given problem. But I do kind of like the positive spin put on it.
Yep.
Do you think you've evolved, sir, in like the last year? Do you think you're the same person you were a year ago?
Yeah, honestly, I think I'm a completely different person than I was years ago. I've changed. And unlike some certain people I've met, I've actually changed for the better because I've realized my mistakes and I evolved, learning to not, and it's like I look at others, it's like they don't even know what the definition of learning is. So it's like, yeah, and it's like I learn a lot.
Oh, we got a surprise. I'm back. I'm glad
Oh.
to see you, Charles. That's amazing, bro.
Hello, sir.
Hi there.
So I gave the mandate to Gray to find for a video, but now this has changed. I'm sorry, Gray. You will shine next week. So
Okay.
Wait, I didn't want to. I don't want to alter anything.
you don't alter anything. You don't. So I gotta ask you, since you just arrived, what does evolving means for you?
Isn't it pretty well in the description? Evolving is, constantly changing. Whether or not for the better or worse is to be determined. I have to admit, I heard you talking about a group that I was formerly associated with, and your description of one of the good ones, I would dispute that. But evolving is just usually it has something to do with learning from something that you've done incorrectly or growing.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm in school. I don't even know if I have the right answer.
But I like your answer.
I think you got the right answer. They might disagree a little bit. They were saying, so I think where they might disagree with you is the for better or worse part. To me, it seems like it's just an adaptation, like adapting to what's there. Like, okay, you've changed, but I don't know. I do kind of like the positive thing. Like, I don't know if you change, but it's for the worse. Is that technically evolution? I'm not sure.
Well,
I know I've definitely done that in my life.
Well, I mean, old Addy from Germany, he was but a mere soldier in World War I, and he evolved into the world's most terrible human being, and he was in charge of everything terrible.
I think so. I think that's kind of how I would use that. But yeah, I don't know. Would you like say that? Okay, so say you started becoming more hateful or more, I don't know, a little bit more attacking in like say your videos or your online presence. Would that necessarily be an evolution just because it's a change?
Yeah.
Even though, okay,
fair enough. I mean, I would say TFI evolved into some mirror group of whatever it is that they're trying to point at. They are the other flavor of this same snack. Man, my analogies suck.
We were falling down that same rabbit hole, and I definitely credit you for helping us take a step back and kind of see that.
Is something wrong? is Gray's voice high pitch? I only hear it from
Yes.
Gray.
So my stupid interface, like right before this, just would not work. So I tried like
Okay.
restarting everything. It doesn't seem to be working. Cleared cache from cookies. For some reason, it just will not recognize my interface right now. So I'm talking through my camera mic, which is tinny at best.
Oh, okay.
At
Because it
least
was
there's
only
something.
you. I was like, wait, what?
Sorry, I
No.
suck. I will be
I-
my full gray next time.
at least you're there. At least we can hear you. And
Yeah.
I do think what's matter the most here is what everyone thinks about everything. So Charles,
Multi. Let me cut you off for a second. I caught like maybe 10 minutes before I joined. What you were saying about Eric. You don't think that he's kind of changed a bit in the last 6 to 8 months for the negative?
yes, he did
Oh,
change the
okay.
negative, and this is why I downgraded the subscription I had of him. I'm still a member because I still think I like a lot of his content, but it's no longer the IS. It's now the basic one, and I started tuning out. To be honest, I don't watch as much video he does. Actually, he's not the only YouTuber that is kind of the case. I've been a kind of bad at supporting streams because our other podcasts where we watch movies and TV shows and stuff that has been eating up a lot of times. I do like it, I'm not complaining. I'm just saying that I'm time limited,
Mhm.
so I don't want to spend it to watch like another video where there's backlash about something, or like I want to focus my attention on other stuff, like
Yeah.
stuff that doesn't feel like they are critiquing like people and stuff. And yeah, I said it, like Eric, I still support him, but I feel like there was a shift I don't really like. But again, I do think he was always thinking about some of the stuff. He didn't really change. Well, he changed, but he always had that somewhere in his content. So basically, what I was saying is, I've been following him for like maybe 7 years. And 7 years ago, he did mention anytime around like the anti-woke crowd, he didn't like them, and that was obvious in lots of streams and videos. But that was in the background. That was like the main focus of his main channel was really the media. Let's talk about the media. Let's talk about what comes next. Let's get excited. That was really about fandom. And now it feels like more of his more political content bleeds into his content on the main channel, and this is a bit sad. Like he has a political channel, and that's fine. I also sub to it because I'm entertained, but why making two channels doing basically the same thing?
Oh, he's also a hypocrite. First of all, he puffs his chest and he acts like, oh, I won't put up with any of that shit. Could not be further from the truth. When it comes to DMs, he's all about whining and complaining about things that somebody else said in public. Meanwhile, while he's in public, he puffs his chest and said, oh, I wouldn't let that pass for 1 second. Next thing you know, he's, for somebody who can't stand, who wouldn't even be caught in the same room as certain people, he does a stream on Ethan Van Sciver's channel, and it's just like,
What?
why
I
would you?
didn't know about that.
Yeah, why would you
What?
reduce yourself to that? That goes against everything that you've been harping about for months. I have no respect for that human being. He's all for show. It's all
Oh my.
it's all an image. Not that I don't perform a bit myself when on camera, but
My.
he's just I don't know what it is about that group and the sweet whispers of one actual fandom, but I mean I couldn't understand how something like you know what was that mass suicide Jamestown. I just couldn't for the life of me understand how 2,000 people would just be like, yeah, that we're done. Let's follow what this person says, until my, albeit limited, experience in that group. And it, you step away from it and you're like, why is anybody giving this person any sort of mind? And it just happens.
Yeah,
And
and I think you did the right thing to dissociate, because like if you don't mind me like saying that, but I think um now you're doing maybe better, that now that you're in other spheres and you're interacting with other people. Are you doing better? That's more a question. Are you feeling better now that you're in other spheres that have different vibes and different flavor?
yeah, I don't hold back. I share maybe a little too much for some people's tastes, but I speak to two therapists, and as far as for my mental health is concerned, being a part of that group just got really toxic. And it's like you brought up earlier, just talking about all this negative stuff. And the name of the group is the Fandom Initiative. Like, what about this is being a fan, other than, it's a drama channel, if anything. And it's just kind of dancing on somebody's grave and doing a touchdown dance if somebody fucks up. And it's just it's too much. And it's like the mob. If you don't want to do a certain thing, you're led to feel shame. And God forbid you leave the group and explain your reasons, then everything that's private just gets shown to the world. So yeah.
And it's sad. I feel so sorry about that, and sad because like I think, like, based on most of the interaction I've seen with you, and like the stream I've seen with you and it, and stuff, and how you interact with people, I think based on the image you give us, you're a really nice guy, a really nice person. And the way they treated you is just despicable. And I don't know many of the detail. I only know what people has mentioned me. And
It's not about me being a nice guy. Even if I was a scumbag, that's one thing. Leave my family out of this. My family has nothing to do with this, nor their very serious issues. And when Dane did that and then blamed it on me being shitty, he lost all sort of respect or repairability at that point. Like, that's just being the absolute piece of shit. And I don't know, for people who still think that he's somehow in the right for what he did, you're crazy. You're absolutely crazy. The
And
things that he did had no merit in the conversation whatsoever, nor do they prove whatever the hell his point was. Like, I don't understand what the hell his point was.
and I gotta say this, like, they probably ate me a lot because I hang out with Dre, but I don't care about that. But like,
Yeah.
they ate people just because you do streams with others. But then how do they act on their own? Like, how is it righteous the way they treat others? I don't see it being righteous. So who are you to judge others and to hate on someone while yourself, you're not perfect? Nobody is perfect. But
Right.
I don't go out of my way to like dunk on people and like disrespect people and stuff. Like, I think respect is something everyone should have. Like, even if you're a scumbag, you should still have a minimum of respect. That's just dignity. Like, I'm a security guard, and you have no idea how many times I got spit on and trashed
Mm.
on. But I don't care, because I know that's on the uniform. They ate the uniform and stuff.
But usually, more often than not, there's some sort of end goal, like money. Like, I'm not really in favor of it, but I understand why you're doing it, because it gets more views or more money or whatever. Um, when Bob flipped on me, I was just like, you're no better off today than you were before you were somebody else's lapdog? What is the benefit for you? Because like I have no respect for you now. So clearly respect isn't something that you care about. What is the benefit? It's not like you're rolling in YouTube money or views for that matter. I just don't understand what is the sell your soul to the devil thing that you're getting in return. And I for them, I just don't understand what it is. It's
Yeah,
certainly not mental health, that's for sure. Holy shit.
yeah, and you mentioned Bob, and it's funny because I used to be sub to him, but I also unsubbed. I'm tired because I feel like most of his content is like just dunking on what's going on. It's drama. It's drama. He wants drama. That's what he has, and sometimes his debates, when you really look into it,
He's
like
bad. He's
he's
bad at
bad.
debating. He's
Yeah,
really bad at debating. Yeah.
he is bad, and like sometimes, like a lot of people mention being faithful and stuff, but that's not him. And I know it's hard to be faithful when you want to tear apart something, but I feel like he will like in purpose be an hypocrite and like disregard aspect of what people are saying just to prove a point. And he critiques people that do the exact same. So I'm like,
Yeah.
bruh, I'm not interested into that kind of stuff. Like hypocrite trashing on hypocrite. Anyhow, um,
Sorry.
that's fine. No, that's fine. Um, that's fine. You know, never be sorry.
M- My
There's
sonar goes off whenever one of those names comes up, and I'm like, what? I have somewhere to be.
I gotta say something. Everything you say and bring up and stuff, it's amazing, man. This is the idea of having a bunch of people on panel. Like, if we had more people interested into our discussion, these streams will be more filled. Like even if people disagree with me, I don't care. Here, it's not an echo chamber, and I like having a position. Like you're part of the reason why this week at evolving as a topic, because prior that was all can we make the society better, but after many streams of like Gray and you bringing like fair point on like how society is not really doing worse, it's sitting on the right track. I'm like, these guys are right. So you see, never be
Not
sorry.
always.
You always bring something of value, and I like when people speak up their mind. That's the point of this podcast here. We speak up our minds. Like a lot of times DC and I agree, and there's only like Gray on the corner. He's like, I have the hot take, but that's fine. Now he's no longer alone. You're there. um Sorry if I've been laughing, Gray. Do you think there's some truth in what I just said, Gray? Maybe the zoo is acting up right
Sorry, I
now.
was trying to mess with my audio. I was re-downloading the drivers and everything. Yes, everything that you said made sense. I was just like 3 windows away from being able to come back to here. Sorry.
All good. So, do you want to add more on the evolving part, Charles?
No, I feel like I'm gonna get an F for my answer to begin with.
No, it's not an F. You brought something up, like you brought the more like clinical aspect. It's perfect. Like there's no bad answer to anything.
Oh,
Never.
oh, there is.
Okay, if you say so. Okay,
If I answered donut, then what?
maybe it's evolving. Maybe it's a new thing.
It's just constantly.
Donut are evolving. So thank you a lot. I'm very grateful for you just showing up like that. That's amazing. And again, on Tuesdays you see the planning and stuff. If you're available, feel free to jump in if you have seen any of the topics. And sometimes, again, if you only have seen one of the topics, that's fine. Some people like they drop by one topic. Sometimes they have seen two, so they stay for two. And others like Gray are staying for most of it because he is able to watch all of the movies usually. So like people that get the link, they are free to join. So that's my vocal, because I also think, because you like movies and that's a stream about movies, maybe that would fall more on your chords, because it's stuff I think you like based on what I've heard, at least. And and we watch a lot of movies, a lot of different genre stuff. So yeah, the focus over there is really the movies. Anyhow, tangent over. Now I sent you a link that leads to a unlisted playlist where I collected around 90 videos. So if you look into your Discord, your mission now is to find any of these 90 plus video, and which one do you think is the more interesting we could cover, and then we will be reacting and covering it, even if it has nothing to do with evolving. The point is really like reacting to videos out there, and like
Me?
yeah, that's why I sent you the playlist. So did you receive the playlist? That's the next question. I sent it to you on Discord. Are you able to see it? Okay, so look into it. Even if it has nothing to do with the topic, it's fine. The point is, any of these videos, maybe we will cover it in the future. Like there's 90 plus videos, so maybe there are some we will never cover. So that's the idea. Which one sound or look the most interesting will be your pick, because you're the guest of honor right now. And last week we already went on for a long time. That's why we didn't do it last week, but now we are doing it this week. So yeah. Once you chose it, because I have a potato.
How did you find 90 forms of cancer and put it in one pot in one
Skills.
In other words, Multi and Gray are gods, so essentially they can do the most insane things ever. So I mean, they can have like a million videos set up in one night. Gray can watch just like 500 movies in one day. So essentially, they're gods. On par with me, a guy who can eat 10 pizzas a lot as well.
I'm looking at these movies, these videos. It's like cancer, COVID, cancer, black lung, cancer, polio, cancer. Woof.
I see something. Sometimes I don't even watch the video. I will be honest. Sometimes I just see the title. I'm like, okay, this sounds incendiary. This sounds like content.
Dating YouTube, dating social media is the most vapid, shallow nonsense. Victoria's Secret girl bossed too close to the sun. What? What does that even mean?
Is it sugar tits?
What did she? Was she bossed too close to the sun? Tricked into watching a woke simp boy comedy, and that creator's name is Sugar Tits.
She's entertaining. One time, DC and I can't remember if Dre was around, but we covered a Sugar Tits video, and we did laugh half of it. That was funny.
I was not there, but I'm familiar with Sugar Tits.
Yeah, maybe that was the one stream you were not able to make it. Yeah, like that was like classic conditioning, I believe. That was the 1 week you were not able to join us.
Yeah, I'm sorry I missed the Sugar Tits.
That's fine. You didn't miss anything after that, and even there, it's fine if you miss only one. Like you're always on the spot, and you're amazing, Gary. Same goes for DC. You guys are amazing.
Why no one goes Black Friday shopping? You're an idiot. You're an absolute idiot. No one.
Because of the movie Thanksgiving.
Oh!
You got to get that free waffle maker.
Oh my!
Oh,
each
Christ.
appearance you add on the Harvester of Sorrow.
These videos are atrocious. The downfall of man is this playlist. When aliens find us in 1,000 years, they're like, "Oh, well, there's your problem."
This is why they like blew each other up. Each of your appearance are priceless so far, Charles. I gotta say, you're amazing, man. I wish we met earlier than this. Really,
I don't, because I would be like 6 playlists deep by this point. My brain would be rotted.
Oh.
Colombian woman explains what she has to offer as a wife. Pay attention to what she's not saying.
Yeah,
money?
I bet that wife is a female version of Gray.
What does her being Colombian have to do with the price of apples? What the fuck is this?
Fun fact.
so we are evolving, guys. Charles knows how to make us evolve.
Sorry. I always derail anything.
That's fine, Charles. Don't be sorry. I know it's being polite and it's cool, it's tender, but never be sorry with us, man.
Dane's muted. Dane, whoa.
Dane's muted.
Whoa.
Wow,
For
that is
that-
offensive.
For that, I am sorry. I was going to say Gray is muted, so my outer Canadian has to come through. I don't know if I could live that down, Gray. I'm really sorry. Jesus.
No, Gray, you're compared to Dane, bro. How do you feel being compared to Dane?
It's okay. Will can call me Dane. People mess up names a lot.
It'd be easier if I called him Hitler. Like I would have an easier time.
Same but different.
Yeah,
No, man. As many
Same
times
thing.
as you've been called the wrong name, I think you deserve to be able to call someone the wrong name, and it's just fine.
I think it's the 4 letters thing. My brain works in like math, but
Oh, math.
Similar sound too, but wow.
I can't. I cannot dig out of this.
There's too many of them.
I suck. I really suck.
You don't.
I just called Gray Dane. I might as well have kicked all of his animals right in front of his face.
Hey, nobody's perfect,
Yeah.
Hey, Gray, look at your dog. It's barking. Let's see what happens when I punch it.
It's funny. His dog would probably just be barking at me. It hates me the most, and it thinks I caused 9/11. Oh God. Oh God.
I'm sure you can find one wonderful video.
To be honest, I don't think you can. I think it's too many videos.
I believe in Charles.
You
You will pick
Okay.
the right
Am I
one that will
for-
get
for,
us
for
canceled.
now, or
I'm gonna just look
For
at
right now,
Mr.
that's
Look-
what we will be reacting to.
oh, pressure.
Yes, let's pressure. So what time is it now in the UK? It's like 2 a.m., 1 a.m.
9 minutes to 2. Yes.
Oh, man, you're late. That's great. I'm someone that likes to go to sleep late as well.
Yeah, I was good for most of December and like the first week of January, like being on UK time. But like my brain knows that I have to go back home to New York. And everybody that I speak to as far as YouTube is concerned, like, some of my supplementary income is based on, New York Eastern time. So my body's just kind of getting used to this being almost 9 p.m. now. So for the next few months, I'm ready for New York when I go back home. Blech.
So
Not that I want to, but
we will go on a small tangent as you search for our chosen one. So
you know what? I think we got a winner.
okay, we got a
Nice.
winner.
Okay.
Okay, I'm excited now. All of that waiting, it must be amazing. Which one is it? So you will be the one that will stream share because I got a potato computer.
Oh,
Do we
I-
go back to the sugar tits one out of curiosity?
I don't know what I picked. I just love the title. Men won't go out with me anymore. Well, why don't you cry about it?
So I will let you play it, and we will screen share and stuff.
How do I get audio and stuff? My computer's not much better than a potato.
Okay, let's play with fire. So if I crash, yeah,
I put it in private. I put it in the private chat.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, I see. Oh my. Okay. That's okay. So before we go over that one, I gotta say, maybe you have heard it already. The guys already know it, but like 2022 was a shitty year for me. I was into a lot of really toxic content, and this includes a lot of red pillar. And I started like stop. I started to stop watching that kind of content only last year, but of course they are like, as you mentioned it, cancer. So of course
Well,
we can
what in your life happened that you decided to change, or was it just a decision like this is too much?
a lot of things because I realized it wasn't helping because I'm someone that self-reflects a lot, and I realized, you know what, it's not me. And I used to be different, and now just if I keep watching this, it will become me, if you know what I mean. So I'm someone that has a lot of self-reflection, and I change a lot, but I gotta admit, like, to dissociate from anti-woke content, because I was watching anti-woke stuff. I started watching the initiative back then, so that's one of the few things. But again, I'm someone that self-reflects a lot because I want to improve, and the best way to improve is really like looking at yourself and being
Yeah.
like, what are you doing that's wrong? What can you do to be better? And one of the few things is like cut all ties with that kind of content, because misery loves misery. I think that was something similar that Dre's has
Yeah.
mentioned, and I kind of knew it. I fell in that trap because I was on a dark place, but I kind of realized I was trapped, and I decided to no longer be. And this also goes back to what I said. I'm able to self-reflect a lot. I'm someone that really wants to be the best version of myself, and if you don't ask yourself the hard question you don't want to be asked, you cannot really change. So yeah, I dissociated from that kind of content, but it always sticks somewhere, because when you're so much exposed to that kind of cancer, as we call it, uh, even if you try to cure it, there's always traces of it. So this video is trace of the cancer.
Yeah,
Um,
it's a
trying
tumor,
to-
all right.
I'm trying to share it. My audio still seems screwed up, so just let me know if you can hear it when I hit play. But
okay, it
I think
played.
it'll work. Okay, here you go. Let me know if you can hear it.
Where are we meeting the men that
Yes.
don't stop?
Cool.
Where
I
are
can
we
hear it.
finding them?
It's like I'm doing an application for a fucking dating show right now because my mind is just blown as to how men can be so emotionally unavailable and immature when it comes to women.
So I gotta say something. Why is it always men's fault?
Honestly, I don't know. Kind of same thing I
Well-
question. Like, why do all the girls hate me for stupid reasons at my school? I don't know why. So I feel you, man.
Well, I don't know. Like, I think who makes the video of like, it's all my fault. I am the reason why relationships suck. Like, I don't know, where if you do this, you're going to get some sort of like commiseration or whatever. You're going to have somebody else pile on as well and say like, yeah, you're right. It's all men. I don't know. I'd have a hard time saying it's all anything. Everyone's kind of unique, and it's definitely the men that she's choosing. But I don't know. I don't think that condemns all men.
Isn't that part of the red pill mantra? Whether it be men or women, you complain, you find a group of people, a group of like-minded people, where they have the same issues, but you're not doing anything to fix those issues. It's just, I want to complain because I'm frustrated. I know what I want. I'm doing what I want. And just completely failing to even comprehend the fact that, dating and trying to pick people up, that takes two people. So the other side of the equation is somebody else who has wants and taste, and they have things that they may not like about you. And perhaps your charming ego is a turnoff to them.
How dare you? First, you call me Dane, now you say my ego's a turnoff. Great.
No, not you. Not you.
I like your answer. You see, Charles, this is exactly you hit the nail at the right place. So I also think one of the
Multi, I don't have money. I don't know why you keep buttering me up. There's no benefit to complimenting me.
I'm just being honest, man. You want me to lie and say that's bullshit? I'm someone like I'm direct, and I try to be nice with people because I think that's something missing. Like, we are so self-centered that like there's not enough compliment. Like, there's always blames. There's always like, you suck, you're this, you're that. There's always that negative aura. Like, people tend to just send at you like it, because it's human nature, to see the worst, So that's why when I hear someone that I agree with, I gotta say it. I'm vocal about it, because if we don't like group on a thing that we value, what's the point? Why?
We need more positive affirmation in the world. We certainly do.
Yeah, and as someone that has studied 2 years in special care counseling, I do know the impact of like positive reinforcement. That's why I do so much positive reinforcement. That's missing from a lot of things, and I think you know exactly what I'm talking about, because you say exactly, so you know what I'm talking about. I'm sure, and it's something very important in psychology. So
no, seriously, yeah. No, I do. I agree with you.
Like, it's important to point out the flaws, the issues, because that's how you can overcome it and surpass it. But if you never compliment what went good, then the person is lost. They're like, am I just doing wrong stuff? Am I just too broken to do something right, or to think something right? So yeah, that's my philosophy. Like, you need to be able to compliment for each downgrade, each critique you have. You need to be able to at least try to find something you can resonate with, because I can bet a lot of people keep from themselves like these compliment they have in their mind, because they're like, I don't get compliment, why should I give compliment? And it's so self-centered. When you give a compliment, it's, the way I see it is to make the person feel better. But a lot of people, they give compliment because they expect a compliment back, because we taught them, look, if you're good with people, people will be good with you. So a lot of people, they do give compliments, but it's not honest compliments. You see where I'm getting at here?
Sure.
And me, it's all honest, because I don't give a crap about what people think of me, if you know what I mean. Like, again, if I would worry about what people think of me, I think I would have like self-deleted because I'm a security guard and everyone hates security guard outside of security guard, so I don't give a crap.
I mean, you're no dentist.
Money's money.
Money is money. Exactly. So I'm wondering if any of you would like to add something more here before we play.
Not for me.
Okay, let's play.
So, please, any advice? Thank you.
So I've been having this discussion for the past 2 days because some people have actually lost the plot, guys. And I actually need to bring this onto my page so we can actually talk about it because I'm a bit confused. I said that I don't think that pursuing men is a woman's job. I feel like women are supposed to be pursued by men naturally.
But-
I feel like that's the way it's supposed to be. Personally, I feel
So the idea she has is like very traditional, right? But is she a traditional woman? I don't know because I don't know or TikTok or anything, but I feel like a lot of the people they expect what was given in the past, but they want what's right now, what's more modern, if you know what I mean. There's that kind of disconnect where you want something from the past, but you live in the present. Am I crazy here?
It's also a bit of a variation on the incel mentality. If she was so concerned about, she has somebody in mind when she's talking about being approached, because if she wasn't having a hard time with men, then she wouldn't even be complaining. But because there's somebody that she has a specific interest in, they're not approaching her and she's bothered by that. It's a very similar thing that we see from men in the incel community. Why doesn't this girl answer, I'm polite to this girl, so on and so forth. It's things the way that you predetermine they should be. And it's like, well, so let me guess, if somebody comes up to you and approaches you, you're going to say yes right off the bat just because they did it the right way? No, you have a specific set of standards you have in your head. And this all started because there's somebody that you wanted to approach you that didn't. And you're not going to approach them because why get what you want, even though if it's against your own stupid standards?
Yeah, I like what you said. Dre, I see your mic is on. What do you want to add to this?
Yeah, my horrible camera mic. So I agree with you. I agree with what Charles was saying, but kind of one area that I disagree with you, where you were saying this is more like she has traditional values. I don't know. Like, I don't think that's necessarily like a traditional value. Like, our society has just always kind of been that way. It's not something that is like changed. Like, it's not like that's something that is, now only women approach men and men are supposed to be more demure and play like hard to get or whatever. It's just kind of the way that our society is set up. So it is an aspect of, you could call it tradition, but I mean, like in the States, we had Sadie Hawkins dances. I'm not sure if you guys had those, but it's kind of like, the girl asked the guy out. But it's the one time that happens. Like, we make a big deal about it because it's just not what's supposed to happen. I don't know. It's just kind of the way that our society is working in the Western world, that for some reason, men are the ones who are supposed to ask. They're the pursuers, if you will. So I don't know. I think you could still be modern, but expect that, since that is kind of the expectation of society. But perhaps I'm wrong.
So
Ray, when is your Rumspringa coming up?
Soon, any day now. I have a big decision to make.
I got to mention something. Your nickname right now is priceless, Charles. A 10 and a 3 buddy.
And you're selling yourself short, man. You're so much better than a 3.
I like it so much. You always bring that level we didn't add before. That was like, it's top tier entertainment now because you're there.
But only if you're paying attention.
Anyhow, you mentioned earlier, we bring all of these issues, but no way to deal with these issues. And that was a really fair point. So this is exactly what I will be doing here. If she likes someone and that someone doesn't approach her, risk it.
Yeah.
Go for him.
Yeah.
It's simple. That's
The worst
how
that
I
happens
view it.
is they say no, and you're in the same spot you were in right before you started complaining. At least you know now.
Yeah, and the other thing is, you had the bravery, you had the courage to do something. You pushed yourself into approaching someone else and trying something. And this is something I value a lot. Like, the other thing is, you need to learn to deal with rejection. It's sad to say, and it's coming from someone that got
No.
rejected so many times, but you need to learn that.
In
Because-
every aspect of life, not just dating.
yeah, and at work, at school, sometimes you will fail if you didn't understand the exam, or sometimes your boss will say no, you don't get that promotion, or sometimes your boss will say no, you don't do this. So there's rejection in anything, so we need as people to be able to handle it.
And by failing, no matter what the topic is, when you experience it, it's overcoming it and how you deal with it and how to not fail again in the future. Like, I think not everybody should fail, but everybody should have some sort of adversity to deal with so that they know how to handle situations where things don't go perfectly. It's like, I mean, shit. It's the basis of film writing. You want your main character to fail so that they overcome it, and that's part of an arc when you write a character. That, or if it's Captain Marvel, you just keep falling and then have a montage, and then you get up and fly a great big jet, and that's the movie. Also, you have a cat that talks.
I like it.
I don't hate that movie. I'm just really piling on at this point.
It had a bigger,
fine.
better role in the second one.
I haven't seen the second one.
I will say this: the second one has been trashed on so much. I was the only defender of it on our podcast. I liked it. I still think it's a bad movie, but I liked that bad movie.
I'm running low on toilet paper, so I might pick it up. No, I'm being mean. That's not fair of me.
Give it a chance, if you like.
No, I
Marvel and stuff.
What you said is what I say about everything when it comes to movie. Give it a chance. You don't know, and don't go by what everybody else is saying.
Exactly.
Because I love me some Jurassic World. Oh, do I get shit for that? Everybody and their mother.
All of them. All of the world.
I didn't say that. The 2015 one, I really enjoyed that, where I found out quickly that I was in the minority. Fallen Kingdom, less so, far less so. And whatever the last one was, I was like, yeah, all right. Are you done now? Please say you're done now.
I will die on the hill of me disliking the Godfather trilogy. I will say these are three good movies, but I didn't like this shit.
Hey, you're rewriting history now. You said you hated Godfather 1 and 2, but you loved Godfather 3.
Oh,
that was the bad
right.
take.
Those are opinions.
Right. I like 3. You're right. 3, I liked it. You're right. I forgot about that.
Was it the stellar acting of Sofia Coppola?
It's freaking 3 hours each, bro. And we watched like all of these 3 the same week.
Oh.
And me, like, I like flashy stuff, and let's be honest.
Okay. Yeah.
There's no flashy stuff in it. But again, I will die on that hill by saying they are all good movies. I just didn't like it.
That's fair. It's completely fair. There's nothing. I mean, it's fiction. In the end, who's getting hurt by all this? It's just art. It's just your own personal taste. It's fine. If you like it, fine. Go enjoy it. Yeah. I just won't be joining you. That's all.
That's cool. I like you really do bring something that I value a lot, Charles. Like,
Do you know? I don't think I've told you this. Do you know what WILI stands for in Will Escridia?
no.
Will I Like It? I used to. My channel name used to be Will I Like It Reviews, and then I changed it to Will I Like It Discreet Media, and then I made a portmanteau of it.
that's a
yeah,
good way.
they're movies. It just, we're not solving world hunger. If movies did solve world hunger, then clearly the choice would be Jaws 3.
Wow, you're the best. You're the best. You always bring something. So I'm wondering, DC, do you have something to add to all of this before we click play?
No, you guys can click play.
I feel like if you pursue a man, or if you pursue men in general, the only type of men you will get are the men that you want. You might not get men that want you, because men have a hard time saying no to things because men aren't that smart. And if they see pussy, they're going to say yes.
Stop.
Personally,
Stop. So
I mean, she's got a point.
no.
Certain men.
No.
No, not in the slightest. I mean, if you're talking about the people in my town, then yeah, she makes a point. But you're talking about in general, no, because by that point, well, you guys shouldn't be smart, and you guys are some of the smartest people I've met. So I was like, yeah, if you're talking about my town, absolutely, it definitely applies. But in general, no, not even close.
Have any of you guys had to say no to somebody, like when they ask you out?
Yes.
I've never been
I
asked
failed
out.
at it the first time that happened to me.
How do you fail?
My
at
answer
saying no?
was, well, that's an idea. And then she ran over to her friends and was like, he said yes. And then we went on a
Oh,
date. She's got kind of a point. If you're not used to saying no to somebody, it can definitely put you on the spot. I didn't answer it correctly. I should have just said no.
yeah.
There was that one girl I once like she was like, I wasn't using dating apps and stuff, and I did like rejected favors because it was too early in the relationship, so I did say no. So yeah, that kind of stuff happens. I think I've seen like 20 seconds of her talking, and it's probably like really driven by whoever edited that video together. That's his fault. But that segment I've seen from that girl, I would never approach her. Like, if she comes to me, I will say no right away because she sounds like so unsufferable. So I think that's her issue there. But maybe I'm too judgmental in like 20 seconds. I don't know.
I think in the 20 seconds I got to know her, I think she sounds talented. Maybe that's just me.
Wait, who are we talking about? The one on screen?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fantastic nails.
Talent.
You do see the nails.
I love that. I love that sound every time she pinches her fingers together, because
It's like she's got her own, not maracas, but, like she's got those little finger clapper things. It's awesome. It's a talent in itself.
But yeah, I'm on you with this one. This is one of the very rare times I'm actually on multi, because I would agree. I would not even date her.
Yeah,
no.
She is probably pretty, but she looks like
Her personality is awful.
Yeah.
Awful.
Yeah. I
Or
agree.
the persona she's adopting online. Like,
Yeah,
perhaps this
that's
isn't
fair.
true of her.
That's fair, Gray. That's very fair.
But I gotta add a bit to this because I you do make a fair point that I like, but I'd also go to see and say that a lot of what you show online is what parts of you believes in. Maybe it's not 100%, but there's always part of
There's
you
some
in it.
elements of truth to it, sure.
So yeah, like that persona she adopts online is bad, but it has foundation somewhere, right? It doesn't come out of nowhere. It's not spawned somewhere, it has a reason. It was built a way. It was wired a certain way. Do I sound crazy there?
Nope. You sound perfectly normal.
Okay. Well, that's reassuring. I guess we can play.
Before we go any further, let me share the comment of the day. Shout out to Sir Graf Dante. He said, I am 23 and have been in a relationship for 5 years. We even live together already. I have always focused on my studies, made sure to do sports, and put money aside for a better future. She was never at home, lied to me about where she was, said I was boring, and demanded that I do the housework alone. Exactly 1 year ago, I kicked her out, continued to work on myself, and I have never been as satisfied as I am now. Respect yourself and your ideas, and never betray your ideals. No woman in the world is worth bending over or getting screwed. Please don't forget to reach out to us by email to claim your $5. As usual, guys, I'll pick one comment from each video.
Pause.
It may be the funniest, the most...
What do you guys think about that comment?
I agree with everything except the no woman. No other human being should have to define who you are. It doesn't, we're not all, what's the word I'm looking for? It's not always about dating and being in relationships. It could be a friendship. You're not defined by who you're sleeping with. You're not defined by who your best friend is. You're defined by yourself. It doesn't always have to be about women or getting your dick wet. Holy fuck.
Yeah.
Unless your best friend does that for you, then get that dick wet.
Yeah. I mean, this is kind of one side of the story too. Who knows if the girlfriend or whatever was thinking that she was doing more in some way, like perhaps she was paying more of the bills or something. Who knows? But yeah, if he's feeling like he's not being respected and is doing more than his fair share and it isn't what he wants to do, have a discussion about it. But don't, I guess, disrespect yourself and betray your own ideals. Hopefully you can find somebody that's compatible. Obviously, if they've been together 5 years and he's 23, like, there aren't that many people who are with the person that they're at 18 throughout their 20s. Generally we kind of grow during that time. Perhaps he or she has grown and they're not the same person. So sounds like it's a positive thing. And it's kind of cool this dude's giving $5 to anybody in the comments. I thought you were asking me to pause so that you could go comment on his channel.
Nice one. But I got to say, that's funny. I was following as I was reading what it was reading out loud. I had the kind of same reaction as you, Charles, there. I was like, I'm on board with everything except of the woman part, because I fully agree with you. It's no people in the world or no person in the world is worth bending over or getting screwed. This I agree, and I've experienced that in the past. So not only with women, like with family, with people I consider friends.
Family.
So yeah, don't put aside yourself just to look better or just to make it work with someone, because that's fake. That's you putting more effort than you should. I do think you always need to work on yourself, but I also think that people should accept you the way you want to be accepted, if you know what I mean. It's really hard to explain. Maybe I sound crazy, but
no more than usual.
No more than usual. Okay, so that's a good sign. So yeah, that's my 2 cents of it. Like, don't bend over for others. Like, if you put more water in your wine than the others, I don't know if that's an expression in English. Is it an expression?
Sure. If you make more of a spritzer than your friend. No, I don't think that one quite cross the border.
Okay, it didn't cross the border, but don't
didn't make it across the ocean either.
Don't make more effort than whoever you're dealing with. Do your best, and if they are not doing their best, then there's something broken, there's something wrong. That's my 2 cents of it. I guess we can play.
most liked, or one that touched me, so don't forget to leave a comment, and you may be our next winner. Make sure to hit the like and subscribe buttons too, as it helps a lot. Now back to the video.
Very optimistic.
I want to mute it.
Embrace your masculinity.
Oh my.
Oh my god.
Wow.
What?
Where are we meeting the men that don't stop? Where are we finding them?
Pause.
You need to talk about his logo and his intro that went on twice.
How can someone be on board with that and not finding it cringe, bro? What the
It was
what?
pretty
What the
badass.
fuck?
There was an ink drop, like all of a sudden it went to red, you know, like that's never been done before. So that was completely unique. And then, you know, the cartoon turned into the bodybuilder. Like that was so great. And then it happened again. So awesome.
It happened again.
All right.
That was
Okay.
the definition of cringe, man. That intro is like, why? Okay,
You're just hating.
Yeah, you're being a hater now, Multi.
Don't player hate, congratulate.
Maybe I should go 1 second back on this. I think she clapped to begin this.
yeah.
That's always a fun
So
bit.
go
Amongst
back
other
one more
things.
second.
Yeah.
Where are we meeting the men that don't stop? Where are we finding them?
Ah, the age-old question. Where are the men that don't suck?
Pause.
The irony in that is staggering, let me tell you.
Where you at, Multi?
Not where you're looking.
Yeah. So maybe she should change circles. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like when everyone is the issue, maybe
You're
it's-
the issue.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly, Charles. You read my mind. So yeah, like I'm wondering if any of you would like to add more to this.
Not for me.
Okay. What about you, Gray?
But
No, I'm thinking we go on a little bit more and find out this special place that, especially, you know, good men hang out or whatever.
since you asked, let's answer it, shall we?
How many
Listen up.
libraries
The
has
guys you're
she
looking
gone to?
for are probably in your blind spot. I'm talking about that
Listen,
area
fool.
where you just can't be bothered to look. The spot you're purposely ignoring because it doesn't align with the fantasy world you've conjured up in your mind. Allow me to paint a picture for you. Let's say you've got 10 guys. 7 of these guys are what you might call solid choices. They're hardworking, decent men who treat people well. Then you have the remaining 3 who are, let's face it, trash. What happens? The 7 decent guys go unnoticed. Why? Because they don't fit your lofty, unrealistic standards. Perhaps they're not
Pause.
tall enough, not bad boy enough, or
Now you will start mentioning like bullet points most red pillar have, like being tall and stuff. I gotta say, at some extent, some women are like that, but not all of them. But red pill makes it sound like every woman are what they describe.
Yep.
So
For sure. But I
I'm-
think men fall into that category too. Like he basically just said, like, okay, so there's 10 people in front of you, and 3 of them you consider potential mates. What about the other 7? It's like, doesn't everybody kind of do that? There's people that we know for some reason, like, okay, they might be a good person, but you can definitely see that there's something that would not mesh well with what you want. Like their wants or their lifestyle doesn't match what you want. I don't know. I don't think it's like a huge point that's like, see, women are picky. It's like, I don't know. It's just a strange hypothetical, but I don't know. Out of 10 people I run into, most of them are not compatible.
Yep, same.
Yeah.
that's very fair point. So you want to add something, Charles?
No, this woman's cancer.
Those nails, though.
Sorry.
Uh,
Great. She may be attractive for you, but she's not attractive for any of us. So,
I think she is physically attractive, but
She's attractive, but
the brain isn't there. It's missing
I get-
somewhere. There's a missing towel there. You can play.
or they're too boring for your liking. So, what do? They carry on with their lives, without you. And you're left drooling over the 3 losers who treat you like garbage. And why do they treat you that way? Because they can, plain and simple. They know they're in demand, they know they have options, and they know another you will come around tomorrow. Funny enough, that's exactly how a lot of men feel they are treated by women. Shocking, isn't it? Now let's stir the pot a little more. You decide to go all in on one of these 3 losers, fully expecting him to change just for you. When he inevitably doesn't, suddenly it's every man's fault. You've now concluded that all men suck, even though you chose to go after the guy who was a poor choice from the start. Catch my drift? But here's where the plot thickens. The 7 good guys you originally ignored, they've been watching this whole circus unfold. And guess what? Now they think you're the one who sucks. You've just blown your chances with the men who could have treated you well, and you're back to square one, asking the same tired question. Where are the men that don't suck? Here's
You scared him off, you dumb bitch.
Could you argue that we're doing the same thing? Like, this attractive lady is just speaking her mind, and we've all come down pretty harsh on her and said, she's not attractive or dateable or whatever. I don't know.
I didn't say she's not attractive. I just said.
Fair enough. Not mentally attractive. I can't remember exactly what the word were, but you know what I mean? It's like, I don't know. Like, we all kind of do that. And yes, by not choosing somebody that could exclude them in the future, and then they might decide, hey, this means that this person's compatible for me. I don't know. It just kind of seems like that's something that happens, but maybe I'm missing the point of this.
The mistake of a few is always blamed on the rest and everyone. That's how I see it. So, like, because she has that kind of behavior, we'll say, oh, all women have that kind of behavior. Or because that trash guy she was dating was trash, then she will say and think that every other guys are like that. And that's just like how a lot of people think by default, because a lot of us are pessimistic. Not everyone, but a lot of us are. That's like much easier to be pessimistic than optimistic. Let's be honest about it. I'm wondering if any of you have anything else to add there.
Not for me.
Okay, you can play.
Here's a thought. Maybe the problem isn't the absence of good men. Maybe, just maybe, the issue is your unwillingness to consider them in the first place. And no, not all women do this, but it happens often enough for it to be a concern.
Pause.
You want to find a good man? Start by being the kind of woman a good man would want to be.
I think sometimes he makes fair points, but the other thing I kind of see with Red Pillars, that's also why I kind of stopped watching that kind of content. The way they frame it, it's always the woman's fault. But sometimes let's admit it. Sometimes that's men's fault, you know?
Yep.
It's not always men's fault, but sometimes it is. But these video always frame it that it's because of that woman. And we all said the same thing, basically. Oh, she's good looking, but maybe not a personality that would work with us. But again, they always pick the worst in the bucket just to look better, if you know what I mean.
Yep.
Am I crazy here?
Nope. You're crazy.
Okay.
No.
You can play.
To be with. Until then, spare us the rhetoric. Let's have a look at some comments. The clapping of the hands was an instant red flag. Probably anywhere. She isn't clapping her hands when she speaks. Check your friend zone or we're busy at work. Her. Where are all the good men? Me, with all the better women. They're either in your friend zone or got married to a woman that appreciated them for who they are from the beginning. Not playing this silly game.
Some of these comments are hilarious. They are savage. They are the kind of comment I wish I was able to make. Any things to add there, guys?
Nope.
No, they're pretty good burns. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I would hate to write somebody off for just clapping their hands or whatever. I don't know. Maybe she's playing a character or playing it up for online, but yeah, certainly I don't think it's very attractive what she's putting forward. But
the clapping thing, I agree with you. It's not really a red flag, but hey, people like to have red flags everywhere. So that's
Yeah.
one of the video in the playlist. That's probably the first one now.
Yeah, I was
So
actually
let's
gonna
see.
say, yeah, like if like you guys the clapping thing, I wouldn't see it as a red flag. But I mean, if I even see even people in my area doing it, immediate red flag because you don't know what they are as a in general. But yeah, I agree with you guys.
Yeah.
fair enough. I did some stupid stuff when I was younger. You know, I would not like to say the type of affectations I took on, but you know, perhaps if somebody had told me like, "Hey, that's really stupid and that's really putting people off," perhaps I would have reassessed. She might not know. She's young.
Yeah, there's sound is a big deal to me. It seems as if she's either got roommates or somebody else that lives with her. Like in the far back, you could see somebody sitting down behind her. She has no regard for what other people are doing in that room, whether it be her making a TikTok video, including them in it, whether or not they can be seen, you know, in high definition is another question. But you know, the clapping thing is another thing that you're inconsiderate to other people and what they could be doing, whether it be reading a book or you know whatever. It's just intrusive, very very self-centered type of attitude. Again, it could be for show, but if you're doing this for show, you should be aware of what the internet does when you do things like this. And it could be an Andy Kaufman bit. So who knows?
Yeah, I like your points. I guess we can play now.
Game, enjoying our cars and bikes, boats and other hobbies, and working on ourselves. They expect the biker who wears leather to become the accountant who loves to read.
So I've been having this discussion for the past 2
Oh,
days.
yeah, this
because
one.
Some people have actually lost the plot, guys. And I actually need to bring this onto my page so we can actually talk about it because I'm a bit confused. I said that I don't think that pursuing men is a woman's job. I feel like women are supposed to be pursued by men naturally.
Anyone can pursue anyone else. That's how I see it. What's your thought, Yuri?
She looks very talented. I love her accent, but yeah. You know, I think it's just kind of societal standards. Like, for some reason, it has been ingrained in us through popular culture, and I don't know, probably just generations that like men are the pursuers. I don't know. I don't know if that part has changed yet. So she may be waiting on the forefront, which means there might not be a lot of people kind of going that route. But I don't know. She's kind of got a point. Like, I get what she's saying. Like, if you're only going up to ask people, or if you're only waiting for people to ask you, only a certain type of person is going to come up to you. But that might not be the type of people you're interested in. So perhaps pursue them. I don't disagree with that. I think that's where she's going with this. But, you know, that's why a lot of men traditionally do ask out women. It's like, you're not just going to wait for the perfect woman to come up to you. Like, you're going to be waiting forever, and that doesn't always work out.
Yeah, I agree with that. And this is also why that goes back to what I mentioned earlier. If you're interested by someone, tell to that someone. The worst is, you will get rejection, which is part of life. And learn by it. Try to dig deeper. If you can, you will learn more about how to do it next time. Just saying. I'm wondering if any of you, Charles or DC, want to add more.
No.
Okay.
I feel like that's the way it's supposed to be. Personally, I feel like if you pursue a man or if you pursue men in general, the only type of men you will get are the men that you want. You might not get men that want you because men have a hard time saying no to things because men aren't that smart. And if they see pussy, they're going to say yes.
Pause.
Okay, so my bad. I interpreted the exact opposite of what she was saying. So I completely disagree with her. I don't know if by just waiting for somebody to come up to you, the person of your dreams is necessarily going to do it. Like, it is only going to be a certain type. If you're attracted to another type, perhaps you actually have to pursue them. She does have kind of a point that because men are traditionally not the ones being asked out, perhaps we're not all perfectly equipped to say no. Like I mentioned, like the first time that happened to me, I didn't know what to say. I literally said, like, that's an idea, and she took that as not no. So I ended up going on the date. That is totally my fault for being ill-equipped in the moment to, say like, oh, no, I'm not interested. I actually was here to hang out with your friend. That didn't happen in the moment. So I don't know. She does have kind of a point that men are stupid. I could put that as stupid, but perhaps she just means we're ill-equipped or not as familiar with having to say no to a pursuer. Fair enough. That's not a horrible point. I think she said it in a horrible way.
I agree with you. The way you frame it is better explained than the way she frames it. And I think that's the point of the red pillars. They take all of the worst example, the one that will create that hate spark within someone.
Yeah, and the thing is, I think I disagree when you're like, well, all men are like stupid, Gray, because I mean, well, we would all be stupid by that logic, and we're all men, but we're not. We're actually very smart. So that's the one part I disagree.
So I didn't say stupid. I was saying I think she said that poorly, just perhaps ill-equipped for this particular thing. Is it's not necessarily what's most common, but you're right. That would not be everybody.
Yeah.
Charles, do you want to add more to this?
I'd like to stop talking about this young lady.
That's not an option. But fair enough. We could let her continue talking.
Personally, I'd rather a man move to me or speak to me or pursue me, because that way I know that there's more of a chance, because these niggas still cannot be trusted even if they move to you, but I know that there's more of a chance that that guy wants me.
They still can't be trusted if they...
Maths. 2 + 2 is 4. You lot are making it 6.
All right, lads, pull up a chair because it's...
That's really weird logic, but in a way she's right. Like, if she's asked out men and they said yes because they didn't know how to say no, like, she's right. If she did wait for somebody to pursue her, there is more of a chance they're actually interested in her. But I don't know. I don't know if it's the greatest idea to just wait around for like Mr. Perfect or the perfect match to come to you. I think you'd have to leave the door open to pursue if you see someone that's a good match or something along those lines. But perhaps that's me and, the traditional societal pursuer role.
The problem is they all have like this tunnel vision. Just, this is exactly what I want, and I'm going strictly on only this, and that's all that matters.
Yeah.
And it's frustrating.
Yep, definitely.
I agree. Fair point. So, actually, I have this on top of my head right now. After the stream, we talk a bit backstage. I just thought of something. Anyhow, let's play the video now.
Because it's high time we rip this entitled mindset to shreds. We got modern women out here seriously thinking they're the creme de la creme, acting like every man should be lining up with roses, sonnets, and a bloody engagement ring. Who's been filling their heads with this Disney princess nonsense? If they think their feminine wiles alone will get them the high-quality man of their dreams, they're in for a rude awakening. And let me say it clearly, most of these modern women, they ain't worth the chase. Gone are the days where women brought character.
Most of them?
Yeah, these modern women. That's why you need the old-timey ones.
Yeah, that's why red pillars throw buzzword out there. So for a long time, because I was stuck in that sphere, I did associate modern women as being bad because that's what they want to do. But after really thinking back and after kind of separating myself from that, I realized I'm a modern man because I'm in touch with my emotions, because I'm not a big breadwinner. I don't have a fortune, if you know what I mean. And I have more sensitivities that are more modern. So of course, a lot of women my age will be modern women. But does this mean they're all bad? Not really.
No. Yeah. Yeah, and to be honest, Multi, I'm kind of in that same position right now. At least when you were like what you just said. Right now, I think all girls in my area are bad. But does that mean I think all girls in general are bad? No. But yeah, I understand where you're coming from.
So the idea is, if we associate something as being bad, it cannot improve. It cannot change into something else until you realize, oh, that's a roadblock. And that's also why I started to like separate myself from that kind of content, because I realized people are not in black and white, and red pillars, they like to frame it black and white. So I'm wondering if any of you would like to add more to this.
No, it's not black and white. It's gray.
Like our co-host.
And depth to a relationship. Now, we've got hoflation. The values dropped, but their egos sky high.
Hoflation.
Don't be fooled, fellas. They strut around thinking they're the last can of Pringles in a famine, but the reality, they've been popped and stopped by every Tom.
Pause.
You know, the age-old saying, the last can of Pringles in a famine.
That's red pill content, guys. Like, that's how they are.
It's a fun analogy. I mean, fair enough. I remember, like, when I was living in Vancouver, for some reason, like, there was, like, this ice storm, and then there was the water all got shut off. So it's like, if you went to the store, there was nothing on, like, any of the shelves. Fair enough. I can understand that whole thing, but I don't know. That's just a weird analogy to use, I guess. I don't know. I don't like it. Is that a common red pillar one? The last Pringles in a famine?
Maybe not, but they all have the same kind of message and ideas where, these women are like very common and nobody's interested in them, if you know what I mean. Yeah.
Commoners.
Commies. Play.
Dick and Harry in town, and yet they've got the audacity to expect you to put in all the work to serenade them? Nah, move along. Now they'll rant and rave about pussy power, as if that's the be-all and end-all. Newsflash, any self-respecting man won't be held hostage to that. Maybe the simps, maybe those weak-willed blokes, but a real man? He sees past that, especially when it's been, well, let's just...
That's a buzzword, like to say, oh, if you are a real man because you watch me. That's also the kind of stuff they say, because they're like, they want to like make sure you're on your side. That's why, like, most of the time these red pillars, they show like men as being that ideal, that perfect. And yeah, any thoughts on that?
A couple. I'm not sure if you'd have the answer as to like what pussy power is, or what they would consider a simp, because I know, based off of a few of the definitions, apparently like being in a relationship with someone's basically a simp. So I don't know. I'm just kind of wondering. He's throwing out a bunch of these buzzwords, but not necessarily explaining it. I was wondering if it's shorthand or if that's kind of the move.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yes, that's the move.
Yeah.
Let's just say well shared. Sure, catching a man's eye ain't hard for them, but holding on to him, good luck. Because when they're offering nothing but looks, that man's gonna bolt the moment something shinier walks by.
Not
They might
always.
think they're God's gift to men, but if the wrapping's all there is, it's going straight in the bin. So gents, don't get played. Know that you deserve more than these pompous, inflated prizes who think they're doing you a favor. Demand better, demand substance, demand a real connection. And to the women who still have that depth, that character, cheers to you. To the rest, time to get off that high horse and join the real world.
If she's going out, it's a deal breaker for me.
Huge red flag. Same
That for me, it's a deal breaker.
I totally agree.
Why
Like, she
is that
can't-
a deal breaker? Is it because it makes you insecure?
It has nothing to do with insecurity. It's
What
just
is it?
this is a dream world hypothetical scenario.
Pause.
Girls really don't be hitting up guys.
I said pause because of Charles' face. He wants to
You
say
mean by
something.
going out? Do you know what they were talking about by going out? Is that like going to the club or just going out with like the girlfriends?
Probably the club. Probably. But again, that's a word salad just to say, oh, going out at the club and stuff.
I don't know. I would
Charles,
just have to
what do you
think
want
like
to say? You're like, what am I
is that
watching?
threatening to say like, okay, they want to go have girls' night. The girls are going out. It's like, I don't know. That does seem rather insecure to me to be like, no, that's a deal breaker. If you ever want to go out without me, no. Like, I don't know. Perhaps I'm interpreting that wrong, but
That's
No, I agree with
controlling.
that. I agree with that. Like, how did you guys meet? Because I'm assuming it's not at, you know, some beautiful restaurant where I'm going to guess and say that they met at a club. So why would you not allow that person to go to the very thing that you know from personal experience that that's what they do for fun? Because there's going to be somebody else equally as, I don't know, on the prowl like you were. And perhaps they may be more attractive or have more manly features or, you know, wear a tighter shirt or just whatever the fuck these just tiny values that they have or it just.
So I got to say something. If you fall on that line of insecure, maybe, just maybe, to overcome that, go out with her. Show her that you're supportive and that you want to hang with her. You know? Just saying.
Yeah, there's a big portion of dating on social media, people that go to clubs and things like that. They're not about having a companion. They're about having garnish. You know, having sex with something that's pretty or being seen with something that's pretty. And that's really where it starts and ends. And that's it. Not the human being. Just yo, look, I got look at this. I got this at the club the other night. She's forbidden from going again though, because God forbid she's seen on the arm of somebody else.
This feels very shallow. Like,
especially if like say you met her somewhere else, but she enjoys dancing. Does she just have to give up dancing forever because you're not a dancer? I don't know. That seems weird.
Oh, like Jonah Hill?
Yeah. Yeah, that one I feel I don't know. I get feelings about that one. I'd have to kind of review it. But yes, much like that.
It's a bad look there, Jonah.
Yeah.
So do you want to add something, DC?
No, you guys can continue.
Okay, let's continue.
Like this. Would you be okay with your long-term monogamous partner going to a nightclub, bar, or party type environment where throughout the course of the night, he's going to get approached, flirted with, and sexually pursued by numerous attractive women, some of which are more attractive than you and could potentially be a better partner than you, and these women are buying him drinks, getting him drunk, and enthusiastically want to sleep with him that night and steal him away from you? You're going to tell me you'd be okay with that?
No, not with that.
Pause.
So you can see how this can be a little.
They don't know what long-term monogamous partner means. First of all,
Point.
Yep.
They're on
I don't
that
know.
show.
Is that necessarily what's happening though? If it's girls' night, like, are they like allowing men to, or do they say like, no thanks, no thanks? It really depends. I don't know. I think those were a little bit loaded questions. Like, obviously, if everything on that list was put forward, no, nobody would be happy that their partner is basically going out and shopping around or whatever.
Oh.
But if she's going to meet her friends and she enjoys dancing and that's what they're doing, I don't know. That to me doesn't sound unreasonable. it really, the way that he's framing it sounds very unreasonable. Like
Uh,
nobody would agree to that.
The problem with these podcasts and stuff like this is they have the educational value of reality TV. Like it's just so surface level and cancer. It's cancer.
Oh,
Oh god.
you're amazing, Charles. I gotta say.
I thank God that I'm not in my late teens, early 20s right now because whoa, I don't know what I would do. I mean, and I'm sympathetic because I know what going through that sexual peak is like for a young man, and it sucks because all you're thinking about is
this.
Getting certain parts of your body wet, and it like controls your mind. It's a borderline addiction. I understand it, but I've passed that stage of my life, and there was a point where I genuinely thought I was asexual, where I just didn't want it. That was partially due to an injury. I was in a car accident and it fucked up my spine, so I wasn't sure like what it was about certain aspects of my quality of life. But I'm almost thankful for that one aspect because I wasn't driven by needing to have sex nearly as much, or if at all. And now I can look at it from a different perspective. Like, yeah, this isn't the be all end all, but I was, somebody who was growing up with that, one track mind, and it sucks. It sucks when it's the only thing that's driving everything that you do, and if you're failing at it, or not failing at it, if you're not achieving the goals that you're envisioning, it sucks. It hurts. It does something to your self-esteem, to your morale, and it's unfortunate. You just wish you could pull people aside and be like, yeah, this isn't everything. But then there's shows like this where it's just not that.
Yeah.
Cancer. It's cancer.
Well, and to like this guy's point, like that list that he made, like, okay, so take off the alcohol, like intentionally trying to get her drunk or whatever. Doesn't almost everything else on that list still apply to, like, say, people she works with, people she meets at like the store, like anything like that? So what do? Just keep her in a locked room, like just hide her away so that nobody else can have contact with her? At some point, you have to trust the person you're with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fair point. I liked it. And I gotta say, Charles, it's great that you're willing to share this much. I enjoyed that a lot. And man, I'm grateful. Thank you for sharing. I'm wondering if any of you would like to add more to this.
Nah, I think we go on.
Okay. I guess we go on.
A little contradictory because none of you would be okay with it, right? But then you say guys should be okay with girls going out all the time.
We were receiving criticism for saying like it's a deal breaker if a girl's regularly going to clubs without us. That situation that he just described that you guys wouldn't be okay with happening to your boyfriend, that happens to women all the time.
Think about it. Women
which
getting
is
hit on.
why we're saying we're not okay with our long-term partners putting themselves in situations like that.
Classic maneuver. If a man has an ounce of standards or boundaries, they'll straight up hit him with the "Are you insecure?" card. It's almost clockwork every single time.
They're both hypocrites. Wait, what is this man shit? They're both hypocrites.
Yeah. But I gotta say something. I lost my train of thought. I gotta say that.
Yeah, insecure thing? Was that
Yeah,
what you're
insecure thing. Exactly. This I agree with. Like, the moment someone tells something and the girl doesn't agree with that, it's labeled as, oh, you're insecure with this or that. And in one of my past relationship, someone was blaming me on being insecure, but that was freaking controlling, and that was a toxic behavior because she was doing that on a lot of things, and that's why we are no longer together. But if
Beaches.
if your point there is to stop your partner to have standards, it's kind of sad. If you criticize your partner in a way that he cannot have his own opinion, it's not good. Why are you with that person if you don't want that person to be an individual?
Yep.
I'm wondering. Just asking. So that's what I wanted to add. Am I crazy or I make sense?
No, that makes sense.
Yeah, it makes sense.
So I guess you can play.
No, darling, it ain't about insecurity. It's about respect. Let's flip the script, though, because they got quiet real quick when the shoe was on the other foot. When faced with the idea of their man being showered with attention from other women, suddenly the tables turned. It's as if they're allergic to their own medicine. Funny how that works. So, what's it gonna be? If you don't want your man in an environment where he's getting lured left and right, why would you think it's okay to do the same? It's simple logic, and it isn't about some double standard, it's about a mutual respect. Ladies, you might have fooled some, but not all. You can't play the he's just insecure card every time a man has a legitimate concern. Want to know what's a massive red flag? Girls wanting to hit the club scene like they're in their prime single days. That's 304 behavior right there. If you're in a committed relationship, you can't be diving into single activities and expect everything to be peachy.
I'm a nobody. I'm a 34-year-old Australian girl who never makes TikToks, but I have tried to.
So why is she there if she never makes TikToks? What's that? Is it the TikTok? Yeah, I'm wondering if she's never making TikToks. What is she doing here?
I mean, obviously, starting a trend. I don't know.
Let's say we don't make TikToks, but we are making TikToks.
Yeah.
I wish Charles was around. Do you have something to add, Charles? Like a laugh or a joke? Because you're good with that.
we'll have to just add Charles in our head, but I don't know. I think he might have stepped away for a moment.
Yeah. I guess we can play. We will get back at it.
Venture into online dating over the past few months to get back out there. And I just wanted some reassurance and support because I don't seem to be getting it from the opposite sex. In terms of, I have not been asked out on one date. I've only had offers to go to someone's house or be Snapchat or pen pals. And then it ends up just disappearing into nothing, and it's just the same monotonous, boring conversation. And then I feel like if I asked someone, hey, do you actually want to meet up? Why do I get such an anxiety attack about it? Because, that's a bit too much, and that's a bit forward. But it's like, I'm a woman of age. Like, I know what I want, I know what I deserve, but why on earth is it absolutely so difficult for a man to be on these apps, but then do they do it just for an ego boost to be like, oh, look at this chick, she likes me, rah, rah, rah. Like, I am actually, my mind is blown, and I am so exhausted and tired of going through the same roundabouts with the same men. And
I got to say something. I agreed with a lot of stuff she said, but at some point it kind of lost meaning when she said that's men's fault. I know what I deserve. Okay, you know what you deserve. Okay, that's self-confidence, right? But are you able to make other people believe that you deserve it? So I will try to put it in other words. Everyone is worth something, right? But are you able as a person to make that worth worth something for someone else than yourself, are you able to like demonstrate that you're deserving of this? Does this make any sense?
Yeah, that makes sense, and that's a good point. I think she's just saying it poorly because I think it's a lot of the same sentiment that you've described. Like, you kind of know what type of person you'd be interested in, so you wouldn't necessarily want to be committed to somebody who is below that standard that you have. You kind of have more of an idea of what you want. I think that's what she is trying to say in a very inelegant way of saying, like, I know what I deserve. It's not necessarily what you deserve. It's like, okay, I know what I guess you could say deserve in like self-worth, but it's like, I've realized what I want in a partner. This is the minimum. This doesn't meet that threshold. Like, I don't think that's a wrong way to say that or a wrong thought to have. I think just the way that she's saying it is kind of in that woo-woo, I deserve this, where it's kind of a different mindset, but I think she's trying to say that same thing, which isn't necessarily wrong, but I don't know. So do you think that, so obviously you've done a little bit of like online dating or whatever, you've been on the apps and everything.
Yeah.
Do you think that every single person that you reach out to meet up with owes you meeting up with you in person for a date? Or, is that kind of a way to feel it out? Like, I'm not feeling this person's personality. They're not getting my jokes, or they don't like humor. I don't know. Do you think you're owed an actual in-person date? That's kind of what it seems like she's getting at.
I will be honest. I don't think we are owed anything outside of respect. I respect you, respect me. That's the basics. But as someone that used to use these apps, and I maybe eventually once I will be on my LT weight, I will try again these apps, but maybe I don't know. So I don't think I was owed any date with anyone, and I don't think anyone should feel that way on a dating app. If it works, it works. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. You can
Perhaps
spend
I'm wrong, but
hours.
that's kind of how I interpreted what she was saying, right? Like, she reached out, and these guys don't want to reach out, so why are they on there? Are they just looking for an ego boost? It feels like she's saying that she's owed that in-person meeting because she matched or whatever with somebody.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Even if you match, it doesn't mean it will work.
Yeah.
First, and second, again, that's some kind of entitlement that's beyond me.
Which that mixed with that other thing, like, I know what I deserve, and it's like, that feels like the worst way of phrasing that same thing. I think you're right. She has a mindset of like, I'm owed this. That's unfortunate. It's a lot of a turnoff.
And it's something that's very frequent, and it's happening a lot on these apps. And like, again, to go back to one of the story I mentioned earlier, I was talking to that girl, right? And she thought we would have bedroom fun, but that wasn't something in my mind because I seek for something meaningful, So that's a trend where when you're in dating app, most of the time, let's be honest, a lot of the people on that, they don't really seek for a relationship. They just want that instant gratification, or they want to go on several dates, and it's like, I can't remember the exact word in English, but it's like you have a big market and you want to consume everything you can consume. Even if it's not really good for your health, you will still consume everything because if you're hungry, you like
Gluttonous,
you're greedy.
Something along those lines. But yeah, I get what you're laying
Greedy.
down.
Someone that's greedy. I can't remember the exact word. But you're greedy with these dating apps. So yeah, as someone that formerly used that a lot,
Fair enough. And she did mention that there were people that they invited her over to their house. So like, they were looking for the hookup. perhaps, she is feeling entitled to this, actually needs to give me an in-person date. And the people that she's matching with are not the ones looking for that. I don't know that condemns all men. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
It
And
just, like you were saying, it feels very entitled.
I gotta say something is, if it doesn't work for you, the dating apps, ask question around to people you know are in couple or add relationships and stuff, whether it worked or not. Ask these people, how did you meet her? How did you met him? How did you met that person? Where did you met that person? And then try seeking out other ways to meet people, not just dating apps. If dating apps don't work for you, try something else. That's how I see it. And this is why I say, when I will be in better shape, I will try again dating apps, but I won't place all of my eggs on that bucket. I will try exploring other stuff. And yeah, if something doesn't work, don't force yourself into like hoping this will work. Am I clear on that? Or
Yep.
I sound crazy?
Yeah.
You're clear, no forcing yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
like your rewarding of stuff. So Charles, you said hang on. Are you with us right now, or you are still away?
Thinking he's probably still away. He's a camera type person, so I think we'll know when he's back.
Okay, so we will keep in mind that Charles will be back eventually. But I'm glad, for real, these 2 weeks in a row we had with this podcast are wonderful. Thanks, Charles, if you can hear me.
Charles is the man.
Yeah, he's the man. So I guess we can play.
And eventuating to absolutely nothing. I have my own life. I'm independent. I work hard. I
Pause.
have hobbies. It's like I'm a really simple.
So because of the red pill sphere, being independent is seen as really bad, because they always put all of these compilation of women that claim they are independent, need no man, ain't all man, girl bus, all that stuff. It's good to be independent, but don't place that on the forefront, because you sound like someone that thinks everything you do matter more than it should. I'm independent. I make my money, I pay my bills. Do I scream it on the roof? No.
I mean, you're yelling it on the internet right now.
Yeah, but you know what I mean, right?
Yeah.
Even if it's a bit hypocrite, because I criticize her for doing that and I do the same. I feel like that's part of some of people identities. They think because they're doing it's impressive, but it's not. In fact, you're just a drop in the bigger ocean. That's how I see it. I am a drop in the bigger ocean. I do normal people thing. It's not because I'm independent that I'm owed a relationship.
Yeah, and by normal things, you just go around, watch movies, have bad opinions, go to
Bad
Grace,
movie takes.
do a physical fight with him, and just have a great time with some beers. Yeah. I should also mention I'm gonna have to leave a little early. I apologize for it, but
Okay, so watch all the chats. There are a lot of ideas. Maybe we won't actually skip it next week, but maybe we may move it. I just thought about it as we were talking and doing the stream. Maybe instead of doing it Tuesday and Wednesday, we may move it to another day. That's what we will be talking about during the night after the stream.
All right.
In more details. So
All right.
that's plan A. I hope it will be plan A, where nothing changed and we start at 7:30, just like this week and last week. And plan B, we will find another day for both streams. So yeah.
All right.
Keep in mind to watch the Discord.
All right.
So Are you leaving us now or a bit later? Oh,
Guess now.
Charles. Okay, now. Okay, so, sorry, gents. Oh, gotta go. Sorry, gents. Oh, okay, that's fine. Charles. Anyhow, DC, what do you have going on your part of the internet?
Like I said before, it's just songs, really, just four more Revenge of the Amalgam. I know Gray has seen some of them, and he's really liking it. Which, yes, that's
Hell yeah.
yeah. But yeah, that's really about it. I really have nothing else. I've been trying to find ideas for like voiceover like videos, but haven't had the time for it. But yeah, overall, it should just be music videos for now on for a bit. But yeah, that should be about it.
I'm sorry, bro. I have been a really bad friend lately because I didn't have time to watch any of your new videos. I know
Dude,
you've
you
been
should check them
posting
out,
a
man.
lot.
They're badass songs.
Yeah, I will eventually find the time. Don't worry, my friend. Anyhow, DC, you're amazing. Take care of yourself. We will talk later, and have a great rest of your night.
You too. Bye.
Well, it's good talking to you, sir.
So, feels like
going?
classic.
Oh yeah, classic, man. It's just the two of us.
Yeah.
Shall we proceed?
Yeah.
Chick that doesn't ask for anything in this life has gone through some pretty intense trauma before, but I'm here, and I think that's my problem, is that perhaps I'm too much of a giver, too much of a people pleaser. It's a date or even a conversation sparked that flows is nearly impossible. And I just wanted to come on here and get some advice.
So if she has that much to offer, why is she single? Can she self-reflect on seeing what she does wrong?
She might have an issue with it, because that seems to be why she's on here asking. And then the other problem, I'm not sure if you noticed like a bunch of like pauses kind of pop up on the screen. It looks like he kind of whoever the one is that edited this took out quite a bit of it. I noticed like 3 of them since I hit play the last time. So she's probably adding a little bit more detail as to like what happened in all of this. But perhaps he is just taking out ums and ahs. Who knows?
Yeah, and like parts of what she says is endearing, and I'm like, she looks like interesting. Like among all of the girls we heard tonight, she is probably the most suitable, I think.
Yeah, she's really cute. Like I don't know, she shouldn't have an issue looks wise. So it kind of wonder what else is going on in her interactions with people online. That I mean, again, she's talking about like she gets offers for hookups, but it's apparently not that in-person date. Maybe she's not on the right site. Like it really kind of depends. I know I've heard that there are some that are more like hookup apps as opposed to actual like dating apps, even though they're under like the same category. I don't know. Maybe she should be very explicit in what she's looking for.
They are all the same. I will tell you this as someone that used 4 apps.
Fair enough.
It's all the same thing. It's just different button and different like tools they give you, but it's the same thing. So I think maybe either her personality sucks or she only looks or she only enjoys these people that only seek for bedroom fun. That may be a possibility, because sometimes you just see all of these men on your app and you're like, oh, this one is good looking, I will like him. Oh, this one is ugly, oh, I dislike him. But maybe the ugly one you disliked will be a better match for you. Maybe the one you deem ugly, maybe he is the kind of mate you would like to have if he wasn't ugly. And that's the thing with dating apps, because it's a sausage party where there's all of these guys and you really pick and choose, and you're like, oh, I can be picky because I'm a woman. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's just that there's more men than women on the platform. And that's statistic proof and stuff. And they get to choose. But they do they always choose wisely? I don't think so. I don't think it's
No, but I mean, like, you know, in theory, nobody chooses wisely until they have their like forever mate or whatever. But I don't know. Like, I understand what you're saying. I guess I'm just shitting on your point because that's what I do. I'm sorry.
that's fine. Opposition makes you think more. Again, thank you, Charles. Play.
Advice on, is it because you only attract what you're giving, or are my
Pause.
expectations too high just to be seen?
You attract what you can offer. Like, if you're just a pretty face, you will only get pretty faces. If you're not relationship material, good luck having a meaningful relationship.
Yeah, I don't know. She is coming online to look for some sort of advice. So maybe she is doing it in earnesty and she, you know, wants to actually get some sort of advice like, hey, you could change this. Nowhere on your actual like profile does it say like no hookups or something like that. I don't know. Maybe there's little tricks that, you know, the people that will then swipe whatever will do the mutual swipe aren't just looking for that. Maybe there's something else that you're right. Maybe the way that her profile is set up or like the pictures that are chosen, the wrong type of people are getting the wrong type of idea. I'm not sure. But maybe she is looking for actual, you know, advice on this and it's not just something, but who knows? It seems rather weird to like come on the internet and say, you know, I've asked a bunch of people out and they've refused. What's wrong? Like, I
That's
don't know. I
weird.
think you're just
I agree.
asking to be torn down, but
Yeah,
maybe that's just me and I have zero faith in the
I
internet
agree.
to
I agree with you. That's the thing. I agree with you 100%. But yeah, from now on, I will just cut my cam because I'm feeling lonely since Charles has left.
deal. Fair enough.
So you can play, bro.
Seen as a woman that just wants to chill and just do life with someone or go on adventures and just have fun and bring up that other person. You're a team. You know, there's no expectation of I'm never going to change someone because you are who you are and it's not my job to be your mother or to change you. So it's like I'm doing an application for a fucking dating show right now because my mind is just blown as to how men can be so emotionally unavailable and immature
Pause.
when it comes to
The way she frames it, at least here, white out the rest of the video, is it's men's fault and they are emotionally unavailable because they don't want me. That's not necessarily true. Maybe they are emotionally available towards someone that they value, someone that they are on a deeper level attracted to.
For sure. And I'm not sure her age. She does look quite young to me. You know, I got to
She
be
said
honest. Like,
34.
really? Okay,
Yeah.
she's looking good for 34. Well, then never mind. When
I
she said
agree
a
with
woman
that.
of age, I was thinking more like 21 or something. And I was going to say, you know, she's like looking at like 20-something-year-old guys. I don't know. I was a scumbag at that time. Like, I wasn't emotionally available. Like, I was an idiot. So I was thinking that. But if she's like looking for guys in their 30s, I don't know. There's no excuse for it. They should be emotionally available. I think that's a really horrible blanket statement to say that no man is emotionally available, like when they're of age. I don't know. I think that's got to be, you know, a her problem, not every man.
And I got to say something. I worked on myself so much. I also went in therapy many times, but that was mainly in my teen years and like early 20s and stuff. I've seen many different psychologists, therapists, and stuff. And I also did a lot of work on my own, reflecting and thinking back of what I did wrong, what happened, what should I do in the future, and how should I change, and how can I improve. And I will admit that as someone that worked on myself a lot, the work is not over yet, but I am on a much better place today than I was 10 years ago, or even 5 years ago. 5 years ago, that was work, work, work. I wasn't emotionally available, but yet I tried my best to have a relationship, and this is why it failed. Now, today, I am emotionally available, but no chance of as dropped by my doorstep. And I will be honest, my focus is elsewhere today. I'm not running as much as I used to get that relationship and that thing. So maybe someone a certain age is not necessarily emotionally available. All depends on who they are as people, what they go through, their own trauma. So if you always only look like for 20 years old, for example, yes, you can have a few 20 years old that are well thought out, a few 20 years old that are emotionally available, right? But it's less likely than finding a 30 years old emotionally available because you're older, you had more relationship, you kind of know, oh, this is what went wrong. I won't do it again. Or, oh, this is what I should work on. And I did work on. Do you know what I mean? Do you know where I'm getting at?
Yeah, completely. I've followed you down that whole thing. Yeah, that does make sense. Yeah, and like I don't know. Sorry, my dog decided to make a weird noise right then. Yeah, I don't know. I know I have emotionally matured just in the last like few months. Really since kind of meeting Charles, like it set me on like, okay, what the hell am I doing with this whole YouTube thing? Um, I don't know. I would like to think I'm not the same person I was even like 6 months ago. So I don't know, to just blanketly say like, hey, I've asked out a bunch of guys and they only want to hook up. They don't want to actually go on a physical date. So that means that all men are emotionally unavailable or emotionally immature. I don't know. That's really shitty. I think she's trying to cope and it sucks. But a lot of the factors that you brought up definitely could be the case. Like if you do have your pick of the litter and you're only picking a certain type because you get to choose from a wide variety of people, maybe it's you. Maybe it's what you're choosing.
Yeah, like sometimes attractive people, they have so much trauma. Not all of them, but sometimes they have so much trauma that they use their attractiveness to like escape and have a bunch of bedroom fun, or like people have told these attractive people, you are shallowed. All you have to offer is your physique. So now the more people that will tell these people, oh, this is who you are, this is what you are, they will start believing it. Trust me. Like if you keep putting down someone, eventually that someone will believe in what you say. Even if it's a lie, even if it doesn't align with what they think, they will eventually fall. And this is all humans are, because we are heavily influenced by our interaction and people around us. Does that any of this make sense?
No, that totally makes sense. Sorry, I started with no. Yes, that totally makes sense.
Yeah, so maybe look elsewhere. Maybe don't pick for one's the most attractive one. Because maybe the ugly one is a golden goose, Just
choose
saying.
the ugly goose.
The ugly goose. Yeah, you're right. I guess you can play.
Women, so please, any advice? Thank you.
Another chapter from the chronicles of I don't understand why men won't commit to me on TikTok. Am I the only one who thinks when you face a personal crisis, maybe don't instantly whip out your phone and pour your heart out to the whole world? Maybe, just maybe, talk to a friend, a therapist, heck, even a pet. Not broadcast it to everyone and their grandma. Firstly, lady, welcome to the world of online dating, that paradise where ghosting is the norm, and getting a genuine connection is like searching for a needle in a haystack. You claim you're independent, have a life, hobbies, and you're simple. Congratulations, you've reached the basic adulting threshold, but then comes the victim card, trauma and being a people pleaser. Honey, that's not an excuse to not get dates. You're trying to use your past as a free pass in the dating world. It doesn't work that way. You can't expect men to owe you attention because you've faced hardships. Taking a deeper dive, she's lamenting the fact that she hasn't been asked out. I've heard this tune played so many times that I can hum it in my sleep. Here's the hard pill to swallow. It's not that men don't ask women out, they do all the time. The catch is, maybe it's not Mr. 6 feet, 6 figures, and six-pack abs doing the asking. So let's pull back the curtain a bit. Could it be that she's been setting her sights too high, chasing after some
Pause.
fantasy, and ignoring genuine interest from men who...
Up to this point where I said pause, I agreed with a lot of what he said. But then came the rhetoric of the red pillars. Oh, women have too many standards.
Yeah, and
Is
I
it all
mean,
woman?
I don't know. Maybe he is gonna like pull back the curtain, and she does have a whole bunch of short kings that are hitting on her, and she's saying no. But it sounded like that wasn't what she was saying. That she was saying, "Hey, all these guys want to hook up, but I'm actually looking for somebody to go out on a physical date, like some courting." That doesn't seem to be what the apps are used for these days. I don't know if he quite identified the problem that she was trying to say.
And I got to say something. As someone that used these apps, I will admit and say, by experience, a lot of women on these apps. Not saying that this one is the case, but a lot of women on these apps, they mention they want taller guys than themselves. And there's nothing wrong with that, but there's a catch. By having that kind of standard where it's beyond the person's control, maybe you're missing a good chance, a good opportunity, because you're like, oh, if he's not 6'1" or 6'2", that means he's bad. You know where I'm getting at with that?
I do. Yeah, I mean, it definitely could be. I'm hoping he has more to back it up with than just the assertion, but I guess we'll see.
Yeah, but again, I said it by experience. I've seen that a lot on.
Oh yeah. I didn't mean you. I wasn't trying to challenge you. I meant him. Like when he's saying like, but let's pull back the curtain and see if there are like all these men. It's like, yeah,
but this supports
an individual case.
Yeah, this supports a bit what he says, basically, that sometimes standards are beyond people control, and this is sad. This is very unfortunate. So even there, I said it, like red pillars rhetoric, not great, but deep inside, deep down, there's partial truth, half a truth. So yeah, do you want to add more to this?
No, I think that's a pretty good point. I think let's just keep going on.
Who might not fit that mold, but could offer a deeper connection. She's not looking at the men who genuinely want to be with her, rather chasing after an illusion she's built up. She hypes up her independence.
Even if the idea is good, I feel like he is just repeating what every red pillars are doing to wire her brain this way, to say, oh, that's her issue. That's not a guy issue. That's her fault. She should think otherwise. She should change. Men don't need to change. She is the only one that needs to change. Any thoughts on that?
No, I think you're right. I just think the way that you said it is way more effective than the way that he was getting at it. I don't know. Just it's the way he keeps framing this that I think is rubbing me the wrong way. But yeah, I don't disagree with what you said.
You can play.
It's fantastic. Isn't that just a basic expectation of adulthood, though? I mean, congratulations on being a functioning adult. Most of us just call it life. Somehow, she expects a standing ovation. We all pay bills, make our own decisions, and sometimes even cook a meal or two. Being independent is a basic hallmark of adulthood, not a unique selling point. Why do we act like reaching the baseline expectation of maturity deserves a gold star? Then we slide into the topic of dating apps. Newsflash, those top-tier men on Tinder or Bumble that every woman is swiping right on, they're not exactly in it to find their life partner. Why are we acting surprised that the guys with a million options aren't?
I do think there's a lot of top tier users that get a lot of match that want a meaningful relationship, but this they will red pillars, they will disregard it and pretend it's not a thing because that doesn't help their agenda. Praising on male's loneliness. Any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I'm just not as familiar with them, but it just makes sense to me that, like if there are more men, then yes, the women would have more of the pick of the litter, and then, of that top percentage of them, it does feel like more women would choose them. So then now they've kind of got a choice. Fair enough. That seems to make sense to me. I would wonder if that's her problem. I'm hoping it gives some sort of proof that, like, it's just the type of men that she's going after, and it's not just, there could be something up with her profile that's attracting the wrong type of guy. It may not just be who she's swiping on.
And on top of that, like the way they frame it always is they think they know that person just because that person fits the TikTok mold, the TikTok approach. So they pretend a lot and they give attention to these women all the time with red pillars, a bit like what the initiative are doing sometimes, or the anti-woke crowd are doing sometimes, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I definitely get where you're going on that one. I don't know. I just hope this guy brings kind of more evidence for his claim, but I do understand everything that you're saying. Like, that does make sense to me.
Yeah, I guess you can play now.
Aren't settling down. And let's be transparent. Many of these girls are just fine with the casual setup until they're not. Oh, isn't that just hilarious? There it is again, that golden word. Immature. If a guy refuses to dance to the tune women play, he's branded immature. It's mind-boggling, really. Women have the autonomy to turn down advances without any backlash, and good on them. But God forbid a man chooses not to commit. Suddenly he's not just immature, he's emotionally stunted or emotionally unintelligent. How conveniently skewed. And the irony? Men have every reason to be cautious nowadays. It's not about shaming a 34-year-old woman with her own baggage. It's about recognizing the field. Men
You were right,
see those
34.
red flags clear as day. Go on, live your life, make 1,000 more TikToks about your dating woes. I couldn't care less. But recognize that maybe, just maybe, the issue isn't men's so-called immaturity. Perhaps it's a lot closer to home than some are willing to admit, trying to play the "it's because they're immature" card. That's the real disingenuity here.
$5. Thank you so much for watching. If you found value in this video, hit the like and subscribe buttons,
Okay.
ring the notification.
So yeah. What did you think of that video?
Yeah, he brought up some interesting points. I don't know that I can follow him on everywhere that he went. I do wish that there were like some sort of receipts. Like, I do understand, like, perhaps she is just swiping on the wrong type of guy, and that type of guy is an immature guy who's not looking for an actual relationship. He is just looking for that casual hookup. Perhaps. But I don't know. It could be something as simple as like what she's got on her profile, what pictures she's choosing, how she's talking to these guys. I'm not sure. Like, I don't think there is just like a, one size fits all answer to why she's not finding a true perfect partner on these dating sites. Everybody that I've heard on these sites seems to be saying that there's having an issue finding like a perfect partner on them. It doesn't seem like it's just super easy to, find Mr. Right the second you get on those apps. So I don't know. I would be interested to know a little bit more. Also, there was some of her video cut out. I'm not sure if, it is just like ums and ahs or something, or if she actually gave more information. I would be interested in it, but I don't hate his points, just mainly the framing of it. I think the way that you said a lot of the stuff, the way that I kind of said some of the stuff, if he was saying it that way, it really wouldn't rub me the wrong way. But just something about his approach. I guess it's that whole red pill approach.
Yeah, and this is why I dissociated from that sphere. But again, I agree with what you said. there's a lot of truth in it. There's a lot I agree with, but there's also like the wiring, the way to frame, and the way to put on a really bad light something that is really recurring on Red Pillars. And as someone that overcame that and that is on another place that is further and stuff, I see through his game, and I don't like this game. I evolved, I guess.
Hell yeah,
That's
man.
that's the thing, right?
I hope for the best, but hey, you're the one saying it, and evolution to you means good. So hell yeah, I'm glad you evolved.
Yeah, I'm also glad of it. But again, I know there's plenty of room for me to go even further. But yeah, this was a great episode. I enjoyed it so much.
Yeah, it was
Charles,
interesting. I wasn't expecting kind of this direction, but I do like the one that Charles chose, and then it's always awesome to have Charles, man.
yeah, always. Thank you, Charles. You are amazing. Anyhow, that's it for today. We
Oh
will
yeah.
have a great talk backstage about next week. What do you have going on your end of the internet?
Again, I am in the middle of editing a bunch of videos. I'm really hoping they will drop soon. But hey, check me out every Thursday on that darn kiddish channel. It's the Thinkers every Thursday morning. Why not come and think on a subject with us? It's quite fun. If you enjoyed Charles, he's often on that show as well. And Multi has joined us before. So yeah, come and peruse a bunch of subjects with us. And then we usually play games at the end. What about you, Multi? What do you have going on?
Bunch of videos. Again, still working on that Naruto power level tier list. Uh, this one will take a long time because I need to read and watch again the entire anime. I'm starting Shippuden, so maybe at some point in March or April, maybe this will be ready.
Hell yeah.
Outside of that, our podcast, amazing stuff. And when I get the time, I don't know if I will have that much time this week, but when I get the time, uh, Advance Wars Reboot Camp stream, Splinter Cell stream, and I'm long overdue a Naruto Storm Connection stream, even if this game is trash and it deserves to be burned and thrown in the garbage bin.
Harsh.
That is hurtful for me to say that, because I'm a huge Storm fan. I liked even the worst Storm games, but this one is like almost rock bottom. Like, I think the only worst Storm game we had was like Revolution, but even there, I feel like there's a bit of charm because they tried to do stuff, and Connection tried so hard to be safe that it's trash because they did a lot of stuff I don't like, and this feels like a DLC from Storm 4, but Storm 4 was a complete game. Connection isn't. So it's like, bruh, it feels like a complete DLC, bro. And you sell that game like full price. Great. Industry, man. That's why it's so great.
It's a way you can make more money. Why not sell it at full price?
And all of these edition. Anyhow, enough rants. Cannot wait to watch every movies for next week. Anyhow,
There's some
that's it
bangers
for
on
today.
there.
Yeah, that was a great stream. Thank you, Charles. And we are done.